You're live.
All right, everybody, welcome to Slice and Dice on the Heretic channel. My name's Jenova.
I'm Gene Skinner. Hi, folks.
Today we are going to talk about Stephen King's career. It's a sham. But first, Gene, I've got horror news.
All right, go ahead.
Let's see. Where should I start? Okay, so AMC is planning a third Walking Dead show.
Didn't Norman Reedus leave?
Yeah, but this one's going to be a female-led spinoff. Because The Walking Dead is so popular, even though the finale for this latest season was the lowest rated ever. Because nobody gave a shit about it. But that'll be the second spinoff because they have Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead.
As well as The Walking Dead. I don't think anybody watches any of those.
No.
It's one of those shows that was popular for like 3 seasons, and then people are like, all right, we're done. This is bad now. I think it's because they fired Frank Darabont after the first season.
Well, yeah, and Frank Darabont is someone we'll come back around to with other stuff.
That's true, yeah. So, next headline, Dave Bautista to lead Zack Snyder's new zombie flick, Army of the Dead.
Okay.
Which it'll take place in Las Vegas.
Well, that's a different setting for a zombie flick. Maybe that could be interesting, but I don't have much faith in Zack Snyder.
I think the closest thing we've seen to a zombie flick in Vegas was like Resident Evil 3.
Yeah.
And everything's just covered in sand anyway, so what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
But it'll be about mercenaries that are trying to pull off a heist in Vegas during a zombie apocalypse or something.
So it's going to be like Reservoir Dogs with zombies then.
Yeah. And you know how Zack Snyder is very...
I hate the fans.
Yeah, he hates the fans. He's very dark and bleak. So I'm sure most everybody is going to die.
Yeah.
Next story we have... The Beetlejuice sequel has officially been shelved again.
Oh, what a shock.
It'll probably never happen, says Tim Burton, because people want to come back, but nobody can really agree on a story, or it just doesn't have that same flair.
I don't want Alec Baldwin to come back.
No, it'll just be a fucking burden, really. I mean, it'll just be another product. Mm-hmm. It won't have the same flair as the first one. We all know this. But apparently there was a defunct Beetlejuice movie that was really close to being made called Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the sequel originally, if I remember.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just reminds me of that Brady Bunch movie where they went
with
to
Michael
Hawaii.
Keaton and Michael Keaton in Michael Keaton
in Hawaii. Okay, so next headline I've got here is so there was a show that came out, I think on AMC. I could be wrong, but it was called The Terror.
All right.
And it took place in like a Victorian sort of era, and it takes place in the Antarctic, and there's an icebreaker ship up there. And it kind of like goes offline. Nobody's heard from it in a while. I shouldn't say offline, but
they fail communications like the telegraph.
Yeah,
I get you.
So you follow a rescue icebreaker ship that's coming that way, and they basically get stuck in the ice, and there's this monster that's kind of hunting everybody down.
All right.
The CGI isn't that good.
How long did this last, the show? How long was it on for?
It was just on like last year, maybe the year before that. It was like 12 episodes, maybe.
Yeah, because I don't remember anyone talking about this thing. I think
it was. I watched it. I enjoyed it. Most of it, anyway. Some of it drags on a little bit because it is a TV show, so they do filler. And it's made by Ridley Scott.
Oh, of course, it's made by Ridley Scott.
But the second season looks to be a completely different story. It's called The Terror Infamy. It's set in World War II and centers around a Japanese American in an internment camp.
Wow.
Right, because we've got to breathe light into those terrible internment camps in World War II.
Yeah, I know. Like, look, I feel bad for the people that actually lost a lot of shit and all that, but It was just a holding camp. It's not.
Yeah, it was not a concentration camp.
No.
They were fine.
Yeah.
And more TV news. I've got Penny Dreadful, City of Angels. Penny Dreadful was canceled because it was a stupid fucking show. Dumb. I tried to watch it. I watched the first season. It was terrible. It's a very like romantic kind of, I guess, Crimson Peak-ish type of. It's more about romance than it really is horror. And they try to like make everything sexy, and it's
horror is always like
Twilight. But they're rebooting it, called Penny Dreadful, City of Angels, which already sounds terrible.
That sounds really faggoty. Yeah.
There's a Crow movie called City of Angels.
Yes, there is. That is
the one with Edward Furlong?
I think it is actually, or it's the second one. I don't remember.
So yeah, I imagine that'll be gone after a season. Probably 2 or 3, because money is no object now, and ratings don't matter anymore.
It's all about the message, man.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll have some terrible message because, once again, it's female-led.
Why does everything have to have a strong, independent woman?
Dude, don't you know about the patriarchy?
No.
Don't you know? They're oppressing women, the patriarchy, and the only way to empower women is through the media.
You know, if I were to have a real guess, instead of the patriarchy, I think it's other women fucking over other women for it. But
disguised as the patriarchy?
Disguised as the patriarchy.
I would say you're right about that one. All right, moving on to some news that I'm actually excited for.
All right.
There's a new Bong Joon-ho film coming out called Parasite, and he is the director of The Host.
Yeah, so is it supposed to be based on that manga series called Parasite that was horror themed, or not?
No, from what I read, nobody was sure because the trailer came out and it had no subtitles and it was just in Korean.
Okay. Did it show like the guy's hand transforming or anything?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's the Japanese Parasite. That's what that was about. They're all about like it's parasites that come down from space, go into people's bodies. They go all the way to the brain and basically rewire people so they can try to take over the planet or some shit.
I thought maybe it was some kind of sequel to The Host.
Apparently not. We'll see.
Well, you would know more about that than I.
Well, I know about what Parasite is because I know about the anime because I watched it.
Okay.
And by anime, I mean manga. I read the manga and I didn't watch the anime.
Well, speaking of reading mangas and graphic novels and comic books, my next news.
All right.
Segue. Vampirella 50th anniversary comic coming from Dynamite in July.
All right. That's all right. The problem I have with Dynamite Entertainment is they missed the point of the whole thing with Vampirella most of the time. They made her dress up like Helsing, but that's never how she looked before.
Well, it's set in a real modern world.
Modern world, The others were still set in like the 80s and shit, and she had the same outfit. I didn't see what the problem was with that. But no, it's all... It can't live in these modern times with these skimpy outfits for female characters.
Well, you can be the judge of that.
I am the judge.
From what I've seen in modern times, women just walk around in skimpy outfits all the time.
Yeah, so they gotta not show anything like that. Nope.
But it's supposed to have. It has a mysterious issue 0. And the issue number 1 will have 6 variant covers.
So one will probably be here.
Trying to get all the much money as they can from all those Vampirella nerds.
Yeah, and Dynamo Entertainment's known for that too, like multiple covers, like the house multiple covers built.
Yeah.
Razor mentioned that before, I think.
Well, July, you'll be able to pick it up.
All right, I'll see what it looks like. Maybe I'll pick it up and read
it. Do a comic review like your boy Zach.
My boy Zach.
And toss when you're done with it, toss the comic to Moppy.
Okay.
More TV news. A lot of TV news today. Preacher, for fans of the Preacher show, which is nobody because everybody forgot about that show after the first season.
Well, that's also a comic book too. So.
Yeah, but the comic was obviously better.
I mean, yeah, I'm just saying we're talking about comic book things, and then we go to Preacher, so it's actually another segue.
Because Seth Green is really no master filmmaker.
No.
But Preacher is over after season 4. basically because nobody watches that fucking show. I'm surprised it lasted this long. I saw an advertisement for Preacher season 3, and I was like, I totally fucking forgot that show existed.
Well, now you remember.
I had no clue. I watched the first season. It was a television show.
What a great way to describe something with a Preacher title on it. It was a television show.
That's about as much as I can say about it. So the last headline I've got here, which will bring us into tonight's topic.
All right.
It's Pet Sematary news.
Oh, what a shock!
Pet Sematary made $25 million over the weekend.
On
a $21 million budget, so they still haven't broken even yet.
Nope.
They need to be pulling Shazam type numbers, and Shazam didn't even really do that good. But the second weekend is just as important as the first weekend. So, and I'm sure once they open that worldwide box office, I'm sure they'll start making their money back.
I hope they don't.
But I think we can firmly say right now that Pet Sematary is a flop.
Yeah.
I've heard.
I never had any flops.
Everything is really bad, from what I've heard. Everybody has more complaints than they have actual things they liked about it. More complaints than praise, from what I've seen from, because every time because they've been popping up recently because it's so new, and I've watched about 6 or 7 videos. I've seen a couple headlines and articles and stuff, and it's just stay away. Meh, it's not that good. I think it has a 6.5 on IMDb or somewhere around that. But from what I've seen, it's probably a 4.55.
Well, obviously, the best place you can go for a nice positive review is Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Stephen King's got the same deal worked out with them that Disney has worked out with everybody. Because after that Sony Ghostbusters 2016, Disney's like, you're not doing that to us, but they did it. $1 billion, my ass. There's no way Captain Marvel made $1 billion.
Yeah.
No way.
Disney bought it back themselves.
They did. Oh, I'm almost certain they did. Based on some of the conspiracy theories that are out there about them buying up seats and shit. But yes, Pet Sematary. Now, we were talking about this before, but the first Pet Sematary is my favorite.
I thought you said the second one was.
Well, the first one. Well, the first one is still better than the new one.
Oh yeah.
And to me, the second one is better than the first one.
Well, that's because it has nothing to do with Stephen King. Yeah.
It's got Clancy Brown and Edward Furlong.
That's all you need, right?
Clancy Brown is a zombie cop that drills things into his head. It's awesome. I'm with it every time.
Yeah, Clancy's a great actor, besides being a good voice actor too.
Yeah, he's really good. But I know a lot of people talk. So in the remake, I've heard Zelda isn't really in it. The sister from the original movie. And when they do bring her in, everything's kind of terrible. Now Zelda's pretty scary in the Pet Sematary movie. She's probably one of the scariest parts because I didn't find Gage to be that scary.
No.
Hi, Skunk. Rock says 2 is good except for the kitten murder.
Yeah, I don't like anything that has animals being hurt anyway.
We know the rules when it comes to pets in horror movies.
Unfortunately,
you can almost always assume they're going down.
The only time I can think it didn't happen was in, I think, Aliens. That cat lived throughout that whole thing. Yeah.
And in the first one, that cat leads everybody to their death.
Yeah, but I mean, it still lives, though.
It's true, it does live, but it's definitely... Taz says deadly friend. Deadly friend. The pets don't die in Deadly Friend, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, so I got a whole list of fucking Stephen King shit in front of me.
Throw a dart at the board.
I'll just throw a dart. We'll start with The Stand because you really like The Stand.
I do really like The Stand because I think it's one of the better made-for-TV movies that he ever had, next to Salem's Lot and The Dead Zone. Well, those will be the three I say, because everything else was fucking trash.
Well, the It TV show is definitely trash.
Oh yes, it is. The only good things about it are Pennywise and the musical score.
Yeah, but the rest of that movie is awful.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple good practical effects in there.
Yep.
But other than that, it's really the acting that really does that, and some of the musical stings, not necessarily the score, but some of the stings they use when something dramatic happens.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the remake has that too, but it's not as bad, I don't think. Unless that's what you were talking about.
Oh my God, Chad is revolting.
Why are they
saying they liked it? No, I liked it. I'd like the 2-part It. This is wrong.
Well, that's unfortunate for you, Chad. I really don't think it's that great. Try watching it again sometime, and don't pay attention to Tim Curry as much.
Oh, the acting is so bad. I know Tim Curry is what really makes that show. Well, it's a mini series. We'll just call it a movie because that's what it's sold as now.
Yeah.
But the acting is horrendous. Now, some of the parts with the kids in the beginning are okay.
You know what's actually really weird? I think, if memory serves, the kid that played Bill Denborough, he ended up killing himself or something.
In real life?
Yeah.
Because It was coming for him. Stephen King was coming for him.
Stephen King was coming for him.
Oh, Bill Denborough is the guy who hit Stephen King with a van later on in life. Oh my God, it's all coming around. Taco says he agrees. The 80s It was rough. Was that late 80s, early 90s, I think?
Yeah, it was late 80s, early 90s. It was a big thing that people were always talking about, like, oh, you need to see the It miniseries. I was still a kid at the time, and I actually saw, like, the first scene. And had I not actually, like, walked away because I saw Pennywise's teeth as a child,
you were scared.
I would have seen the fact that, oh, nothing happens in that scene, unlike in the remake one where he actually bites off Georgie's hand, then drags him down.
Because that's really all anybody talks about when they talk about It, is every scene with Tim Curry.
Yeah,
that's always everybody's favorite thing. And Tim Curry is a great actor, but in the new It, Bill Skarsgård blows him out of the water.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
I mean,
I know some people didn't like it all, but I don't think there's really even a comparison.
No.
Bill Skarsgård is the #1 Pennywise. And the new It is better than the TV show, obviously.
Yeah. The only thing I will give the TV show credit for, and this is something else in the plot-wise, I don't remember if this follows the book exactly, but I do like the fact that when they're looking through that photo album Mike has, that Ben has in the newer one, that it does mention that Pennywise could have been a normal person and that something took his guise to trick children.
Bob Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what name he goes by, right? Robert Gray.
That's one of the things the alien goes by too, is Robert Gray. But I do like the fact, though, that it does seem to indicate that it was a person at some point, because it says like 100 years later or some weird thing. I don't know. Just how it looks in that, but I know the fact it's supposed to be that it was always there, regardless too.
Yeah, that's how King writes everything, though. Yeah. Everything's a shared universe.
Everything's a shared universe in Maine.
Rock says Dean Koontz was the driver of that van that hit Stephen King. Cindy says the It TV show is not the best thing ever, but I have an affection for it. I mean, that's fine. I understand. We've all got movies that are kind of guilty pleasures.
If any of you like the Langoliers in chat, you need to leave now.
Huck likes the Langoliers, but I don't think he's here. Because he asked me in chat yesterday, are you guys going to be talking about the Langoliers? I was like, yeah, we'll talk about the Langoliers.
If anyone in chat likes Langoliers, what is wrong with you?
I don't know. If Huck was here, he would tell us what was wrong with him. Taz says it wasn't a shared universe until the 90s. He started retconning, editing, and changing the stories. Yeah,
He was also trying to tie everything together with the Dark Tower books, anyways, too.
Yeah, he did a massive rail and was like, "Wait a second,
that's
what if everything's connected?"
Mm-hmm.
Dark Tower series, start writing it. That's what he did. But The Langoliers is a really bad TV show.
Mm-hmm. It's a bad TV miniseries. Yeah,
it's probably. I mean, it's right at the bottom with the Shining miniseries.
Yeah, that they did for TV.
Because the It miniseries definitely better than the Tommyknockers, definitely better than the Langoliers.
Yeah,
I think you're right when you say The Stand is probably the best one.
Yeah, it follows the book the closest, and that book actually is really good for Stephen King. It's one of my favorites, though. I'll say that one's actually probably my favorite out of all of them. I do like it for some of the concepts it puts in there, but it's not really well written.
Wants a recap of the Langoliers. The Langoliers is about a plane full of people that travel through some light phenomenon in the sky.
The Aurora Borealis.
Right, they go through the Aurora, and everybody who's
becomes
sleeping wakes up in like time that stood still.
Mm-hmm.
And they're being chased by these terrible CGI balls that are eating everything.
Yep.
That's basically the movie. It's got that one guy from Perfect Strangers who played Balky.
Yep.
He plays a real asshole in that movie too, or that mini-series.
He does, yeah. He's that guy who keeps freaking out and then he's like all about having to go to the fucking meeting and everything else.
Yeah, evil Pac-Mans, you're right, Rock. Taz says the balls eat temporal yesterday. Who cares? It's dumb.
It's really retarded. The CGI looks so bad.
It sounds good on paper,
but it's not in the production.
Well, when you make it into a TV series, it's not. I wouldn't be surprised though if if at some point I was giving you horror news where they're rebooting the Langoliers.
I won't doubt it. They'll try to do all of Stephen King's work.
Oh yeah, he's hot right now. Mm-hmm. Again, he's hot again. Everybody forgot. All the generations forgot how bad he really is.
Yeah.
And the thing is, as bad as he is, a lot of his films, they have a place in our heart. Like everybody always has a Stephen King movie that they really like, or not just one. They'll always have a couple of them.
Yeah.
I just thought of another Stephen King movie that I didn't have written down.
Which is that?
Frailty.
Frailty?
Yeah, Frailty's got like Matthew McConaughey in it, and Bill Paxton's in it, and like Bill Paxton's a crazy dude, or is he crazy? You don't know because of the twist ending, and they're like serial killers that kill demons.
Oh yeah, that one.
It's not bad for what it is.
The best, I forget is Thinner also a TV miniseries? Or is that actually a film?
What is it?
Thinner.
Thinner is a movie. I saw that in theaters.
Okay, so that's the perfect movie for Esau to watch.
Yeah, and you can put the gypsy curse on them.
Yes, you can.
Put that gypsy curse on, make them just lose all that weight. You know how much fucking extra saggy skin will be hanging off of him?
That's a lot of gun.
He'll have to get it removed. Thinner is, I don't know. Thinner is like a 5 in my book.
It's a 4 for me. It's a 4 for me.
It's got its moments. I kind of would have rather the movie focused around the judge or prosecutor or whoever it was. I think it was the judge that got turned into a lizard. Because that's my favorite scene in there. He goes to see the guy, and she's like, I don't know what's happening to him. His wife's all scared, and he walks in, and like the guy's in the shadow, but you can kind of make out some things, and then he turns on the light, and you can really see his face.
Yep.
Let's see. Taz brought up 2 Stephen King films, The Mangler and Graveyard Shift.
Oh yeah, those are both good. The Mangler is nowhere close to the book, and that's what makes it great. Graveyard Shift is really good because Brad Dourif is in it. And it has a lot of actually pretty good actors in it too.
Yeah, I'm okay with Graveyard Shift. I saw that when I was young, and it scared the shit out of me.
With those rat bats.
Yeah, Yeah, and then that big one at the fucking end that he's got to fight. It's fucking ridiculous. The Mangler, the movie. The movie, does that have Robert Englund in it?
Yes, it does.
Which is probably what makes it so good. I wouldn't say so good, but it's watchable at least. Chad has put 3 movies in that the 2 we just talked about, and another one that I don't even have on my list, and my list is dozens of shit on it. The other one that Rock just brought up, Lawnmower Man.
Oh my god, that movie is so bad. That's not. So here's the Stephen King original short story for that, right? A guy hires someone to mow his lawn. Someone comes, but it's like some kind of like demonic thing. It's a demonic styer that starts eating his grass. The guy freaks out. The styer kills him, and then the police comes. Like the police come by and say, "Oh, this is probably some kind of like cultish shit."
Yeah, there is a short film called Lawnmower Man that's actually straight true to the short story.
Yeah, it's from Night Shift. But whatever the fuck that thing was just to get Stephen King's name on it, and they could do whatever the fuck they want, because there's a second one of that too, and they're both awful.
Yeah, I don't really have any place in my heart for Lawnmower Man. I think in the second one, they got the guy who plays Max Headroom to play Lawnmower Man. The first one is, like I said, a lot of his stuff is kind of good as an idea.
Yeah.
But the way he fleshes them out is always so... It's either boring or it's shit you've already seen because he's already done it like 15, 16 times already. Because he's got all his same tropes. And, you know, all his women are interchangeable. So you can't really get too much... you don't get too much of different from Stephen King. You can always tell what's Stephen King when you're watching it or reading it.
Yeah.
You have different monsters and shit.
And I will say this too. The Dark Tower did have some promise with the idea of being like a supernatural Western gunslinger thing.
Yeah.
But the best evidence is actually The Wizard in the Glass, because it's a retelling of The Stand in a different world, where it shows that Randall Flagg has basically been the wizard he's trying to fight Walter O'Dim the entire time.
Yeah. Zach says Shawshank Redemption is amazeballs as a film, but the story isn't great, and Chad agrees with him.
Yeah.
Shawshank is one of those films. It's very much like The Shining, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining for me. I really liked it for a while, and then one time I watched it, and I just couldn't take it seriously, and I just laughed through the whole thing. I did that with The Shining.
In certain ways, it's the writing of how the films were made.
Yeah.
But I think what actually makes it so that The Shining is actually not The Shining, the the Shawshank Redemption is really good is the person that's directing it, and that person is Ray Darabont or Robert Darabont.
Frank Darabont.
Yeah, it's Frank Darabont. Yeah, he's the one that did it, and he's the one who actually wrote the whole script for Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warrior.
Yeah, and he also directed The Mist.
Yes, he did. Those are better Stephen King adaptations as well.
Yes, true. And I really like The Mist. I think because Frank Darabont he's got a black and white version of it that he released on the DVD or the Blu-ray or something like that. Yeah. Because he wanted to originally release it in theaters as black and white, because it's supposed to be like an homage to like those 50s sci-fi sort of monster creature films.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks really good in black and white, and it gives it it gives the film a whole new kind of feeling to it, especially with the mist and some of the creature effects and stuff like that. They look a little better. And the ending to that movie is fucking nuts.
Speaking of another movie that's really nuts too, I can think of Desperation being a really out there Stephen King film.
Yeah, wasn't that made straight for Sci-Fi, Desperation?
I believe so, yeah. Got Ron Perlman in it as the crazy sheriff.
It's actually one of the only Stephen King books I've actually read.
It's supposed to be a sequel or a prequel to that other book, whatever it's called, like the terror, I forget what the actual thing's called. It's like there's a psychic thing that gives a kid powers to do all this shit.
Right, because everybody has the shine
The shine.
In all the books. Somehow everybody's got the fucking shine.
Moon. That spells 1957.
It's supposed to be rare, but look at all these fucking characters.
Yeah, like every character special. Someone's another one I think that's an overlooked Stephen King adaptation too is Firestarter.
Yeah, it was the young Drew Barrymore.
Yep.
Is Lou Diamond Phillips in that movie, or is he in the sequel to Firestarter?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Chat will know, of course. But
tell us, chat, please.
Yeah, I think Lou Diamond Phillips is in something Firestarter. Yeah, Zach, Ron Perlman as a crazy guy, no way.
I know. Right?
Yeah, he plays like a crazy cop it's like a demon living inside his body or something.
Tack possesses him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be some kind of god or something. Oh, yeah. I just thought of another Stephen King one off the top of my head. That's all right. Children of the Corn technically is okay.
Yeah, it's not bad.
What's the funny thing implied in it though is the he who stalks behind the rose is another name for Randall Flagg.
Yeah, but that was before.
Yeah, King. It was slightly before King did that, but there was also the Dark Man story he had like way earlier in high school where he wrote about that. That's also where Randall Flagg came from too.
Yeah, and they want you to think it's the devil though.
It's the devil. It's the devil. It's the devil.
Mean, isn't Randall Flagg kind of the devil anyway?
Yeah, he's the conservative devil, the one that waits and votes for the orange man.
Oh no, red states everywhere. All red states all the time. Stephen King's nightmare.
My own state is. I can't leave it. Oh
no. My big problem with Children of the Corn is I like the part where the kids are killing all the adults. That's always fun. I like the idea of the whole child cult thing and he who stalks behind the rose.
Stalks behind the rose.
But again, because of I think it's more the time frame that a lot of these things were made. It's just the acting is so bad.
Yeah,
and I don't like a lot of the lighting in that show as well.
You mean movie because it was a full movie? I think
that's right. It's a movie. Well, there's
there's all the sequels too. Yeah.
There's like a dozen of them. Yeah, there's a shit ton of fucking sequels.
What I was thinking too is the fact that I love the fact that Stephen King tries to make the fact that Nebraska of all places is supposed to be scary.
Nebraska?
Yeah, it's in Gainesville, Nebraska. That's where Gainesville, Nebraska is where it's
because there's no cornfields in Maine.
Apparently not. That's the one of the ones that's set in Nebraska. Along with
he'll retcon that somehow.
Some way.
Nebraska used to be part of Maine, owned by Maine, or some bullshit. He'll come up with something.
Yeah,
because I mean, he hates Maine.
Yeah,
because everything takes place in Maine, and he just talks. If he's inspired by Maine, then everybody's racist and crazy, and
that's just how America is. You don't understand. That's how America's always been. If Gary Hart was here, he could save me.
Yeah, Gary Hart, please save Stephen King. He needs your help.
One day he'll be president. You'll see.
Pay for his therapy. Let's see. Somebody brought up Carrie. Rock brought up Carrie. Taz brought up Carrie too.
Yeah, it's really weird because that's that weird backstory for like starving daughter or aunt. That's why the mom's so crazy.
Right.
And that's so out of place and weird. Even for that.
Not a fan of Carrie. Not a fan of the remake or the sequel. I just found it to be, I don't know, it's kind of boring. The acting is bad. Not a fan of Sissy Spacek. Is that who plays Carrie?
I think so.
I think is the mother Karen Black in the original?
I think so, yeah.
Always a fan of Karen Black. I think she did a phenomenal job. But everywhere else I look, I think PJ Souls is in that movie. Yeah. John Travolta's in that movie. I know
he is, yeah. a guy people really love and totally just can't stand anymore or anything.
And the whole, the whole dumping the pig blood scene, that's a very fun scene. And her, burning down the school and all that stuff. But
I just remembered another fucking Stephen King thing again.
Go ahead, dude. There's a shit ton of them.
I know. I remember off the top of my head. Sometimes they come back.
Oh, there's another one I forgot to write down. I think there's 3 of those too. It's about like vampire greasers.
Yeah, pretty much. It's almost like
greasers from hell.
Yeah, it's almost like if the gang in fucking It had their own spin-off series. That's what you get, is that.
Yeah, that's true. It's who Stephen King wishes he was.
Yeah.
He's forever a greaser. Forever with his, Chevy 57s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us to Christine, which we talked about. There's zombie greasers, says Rock. Yeah, there's something like that.
Yeah, there's zombie greasers. That's right.
But was that a straight to DVD or straight to VHS movie? Because I don't remember that being in theaters. Sometimes they come back.
I think it may have been, yeah.
Piper Laurie was the mom in the original one.
Oh, was it Piper Laurie?
In the original Carrie, says Cindy.
Okay.
Which one were we just talking about?
We were
Christine. Christine, because we talked about this last time when we talked about John Carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
We're not really fans of Christine.
And let's see. I just have this whole list now open in front of me, too. Misery is a good film.
I like Misery.
Even though it's based upon the fact, I'm such a victim, someone hit me.
You actually got 2 actors who are pretty good, James Caan and Kathy Bates.
Yep.
And I mean, who can ever forget the hobbling scene?
Yeah.
She brings in that sledgehammer and you know what the fuck's coming, and then
So if we're talking
God, it hurts just thinking about it.
If we're talking about Stephen King's childhood as well, there's always Stand By Me, which is totally based on his whole life experience. Someone should have gotten hit by a fucking train then, I guess.
Stand By Me, his friend was hit by a train. He has no recollection of the incident, though.
People told him it later.
People told him it later, which leads me to believe that possibly, allegedly, maybe Stephen King blacked out and pushed his friend in front of a train. Yeah. Allegedly.
Yep.
Stephen King doesn't have the best record with vehicles.
No.
Trains and vans, they really kind of.
Here's another stinker, by the way. 1408.
1408. That's another one I forgot to put on my list. 1408 was bad. And I was just watching the Dark Tower movie. I was rewatching it because somebody was like, this movie's actually really good. You really need to see it. And I'm like, yeah, it's not good, but I'll rewatch it and I'll let you know how bad it is still.
Yeah, 1408 is basically everything he tried to do with The Shining, but worse.
Yeah. But in the Dark Tower, they've got a lot of Easter eggs. Like they've got the Pennywise Carnival.
Yep.
And they're about to go through one of those time doors or whatever they are that takes you to a different plane of the Earth's.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, remember this number, it's your way back. And they pan back, it says 14-08 on it. I just started laughing like, nobody remembers that movie.
Here's one that apparently they did 2 years ago. 1922. I'd never heard of this one.
1922 has got Thomas Jane in it. I believe it was a Netflix. It came out around the time because once it was so popular, then Netflix was like, yeah, well, we've got 2 low tier Stephen King short stories that we're going to drop to you. We're going to drop you 1922 and we're going to drop you Gerald's Game.
Yeah.
I've heard people say 1922 is good, but I watched it and I was bored off my ass the entire time. And Gerald's Game was I know Sweet said she liked that book or short story at least.
She said it was okay.
But Gerald's Game, it's a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, that's fucking awful. We got since I mentioned Dead Zone, I mentioned Thinner. I see Cell on this fucking list. 2016, they did Cell.
That's another. It's John Cusack and I think Samuel L. Jackson again.
Yep. Yeah.
It's bad. It's about phones that turn you into zombies.
Yep.
And everybody's, it's real It's real on the nose with the agenda. It's the narrative it's pushing. We're all zombies. We're all on our phones all the time.
Yeah,
The
Steven,
signal is controlling us.
how you're always on your phone all the time on Twitter,
Yeah.
shitting things up like you always do. I didn't think they had cell phones back in 1957, but here we fucking are.
He doesn't realize he's a zombie too.
Yep. Here's another fucking stinker on this list. I see right away. Fucking Secret Window.
Secret Window that's actually better than most of the movies we fucking mentioned, and it's not even that good.
Yeah.
I mean, that was back before Johnny Depp kind of
became more insane.
He went so far, Johnny Depp.
Mm-hmm.
And now Johnny Depp doesn't do any movies where he doesn't have 100,000 pounds of makeup on.
I always forget this is also a Stephen King film, so I'm going to mention this one as well. No, just looking at this list, it reminds me of so much that is Stephen King that I forget. The Running Man is a Stephen King film.
Yeah, under Richard Bachman pen name.
Yep.
And he also went under John Swifton and Beryl Evans.
Yep.
I think Beryl Evans is where he got all his child's books.
Yeah, it was
published under. But Running Man is a great film.
Mm-hmm.
Arnold, Jesse Ventura. He's not called the Shockmaster. He called something. He's like an opera singer that fucking shoots lightning.
Mm-hmm.
All the stalkers that they've got there. Hot women. I mean, for real babes, or at least one babe.
Did you? Here's the best one that's totally not in the nose of Stephen King, by the way. At Pupil.
At Pupil, I have that on DVD.
Remember, colleges are all about turning you into Nazis.
Yeah, it's got David Schwimmer in it from Friends.
Yep.
Plays the teacher at the end. And I think it's like halfway through that book, that kid has got the old man Magneto dressed up like his Nazi self.
Yep.
Making him march around his little house.
Yep.
Because that kid was a famous child actor. I think he might have died.
Yeah.
Can't remember that kid's name.
Was Cat's Eye on your list too?
I've got Cat's Eye up. The chat is giving us a shit ton. Golden Years, Storm of the Century, Needful Things.
Yeah, I mentioned Golden Years before. It's a TV miniseries that's really bad.
The Dead Zone movie. Storm of the Century is the first half of Storm of the Century is okay.
Mm-hmm.
It builds a lot of tension. You're like, who's this? It's like some warlock guy that's come to he's brought this storm with him to keep this town isolated. And he wants a new pupil to teach all his magic to because he's dying. So he just holds the town hostage till they give me what I want and I'll go away. And he just wants one of their kids.
We also have to mention, since we mentioned Misery as well, Dolores Claiborne.
Dolores Claiborne, yeah. It's not as good as Misery.
No.
But it's all right. It has its moments. Salem's Lot.
Yep, I said that. That's one of my favorites, actually, for a TV miniseries. That did really well. There's fucking Silver Bullet with Gary Busey.
Oh, and Corey Haim.
Yep.
In his rocket wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And the priest is the werewolf.
Yep.
Of course.
There's Heart in Atlantis as well, which is basically that's a companion piece to the the Dark Tower series.
Oh yeah.
Into a movie.
Does everybody have The Shine?
Pretty much, yeah. Anthony Hopkins is in it, yeah.
Anthony Hopkins.
The Dark Half is also Stephen King.
The Dark Half, that's in chat. Bag of Bones is in chat.
Yep.
The Green Mile.
Yeah, the Green Snorefest, yeah.
Is that supposed to be a companion piece to Shawshank?
No.
I mean, they're very similar.
They are. It's the
except
same
for the supernatural aspect to it that he's got in there. He said, "I'm gonna combine I'm gonna recapture Shawshank, and I'm gonna put some supernatural in there."
We got Riding the Bullet.
Is that a Stephen King movie?
Yeah, that is apparently.
I've never heard of that.
We got A Good Marriage is also a Stephen King movie.
Never heard of that one either. You know what? I think I've seen that movie actually.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's a serial killer, and his wife finds out.
We got a Big Driver.
Never heard of that. Is that a book or a movie or both?
It just shows it as a movie.
People say Firestarter, 1984, Creep Show.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we've talked about Creep Show a lot.
Yeah, we've talked about Creep Show on the show before. Stephen King really didn't make that himself. Other people helped him.
Romero, mainly.
Yeah. Quicksilver Highway is another one.
I think I remember that movie. Is that a movie?
Yeah, there's. Oh, this sounds horrible. This is a Stephen King thing. Oh God, this has to be like Just Not a Fucking Horse or Stuck in Love.
Stuck in Love, is that his turn at romance novels?
I guess.
Did he get help from Tabitha King?
Probably.
His whole family is writers.
Yeah.
Cindy, thank you. Maximum Overdrive.
Yep, Maximum Overdrive was not based on any Stephen King story whatsoever. It is just literally based on him making something out of his ass.
One of my favorite movies.
He wrote, produced, and directed it. The whole fucking thing by himself.
I watch Maximum Overdrive like 4 times a year at least. It's a great fucking movie. Strog brought up the show Haven, which was on Sci-Fi. Have you seen that show?
I've heard it's good, but I didn't know
it's not really that bad at all.
I didn't know Stephen King did that. That makes me not want to watch it.
Yes, AC/DC soundtrack for Maximum Overdrive, the whole thing. And then in Maximum Overdrive, you got that kid that gets run over by a steamroller.
Yep.
His head just goes pop.
Did I mention Night Flyer? I don't remember if I
did. No, we haven't mentioned Night Flyer. Night Flyer is another one.
Mercy is another one as well. That's probably it for this list I'm looking at of Stephen King films. I didn't say Cujo, but everyone should know what Cujo is.
Yeah, chat's been saying Cujo. Maximum Overdrive is based on his story Trucks, says Rock.
Was it?
Yeah, that's what Rock says.
Okay, well, I guess he adapted his own thing. I just don't remember it being aliens that controlled the vehicles. Aliens were doing it, and a meteorite crashed into them, and that's how they all stopped.
I don't think a meteor crashes into them. A meteor just is affecting them as it passes by.
Something like that.
Yeah, and I think it's like green or something in the sky. Strog says he likes the killer vending machine in Maximum Overdrive. That's a great kill.
Stephen King actually has a cameo in his own movie too. He's got
a cameo in like every movie.
I know. I forgot to mention Sleepwalkers, by the way, which is another thing he fully wrote.
Chad's got it there too.
Okay, I think Chad's probably named everything of Stephen King.
They're close. I've got a list.
Okay.
Yeah, Needful Things, Rose Red, The Mist. We talked about that. We like that. Hey Huck, how you doing? Huck, you missed our Langoliers short discussion.
Did we miss Dreamcatcher, didn't we?
We haven't brought up Dreamcatcher yet, no, which has like the alien in that calls itself Bob Gray.
Yeah.
And the guys in there as kids, like they had in the book or whatever, they had
let me get
something. They had something to do with Pennywise too.
Something like that. I don't remember. No, it's because one of the guys is from Derry, Maine.
This machine called me an asshole. Honey.
Yeah.
Rock. Yes. Yeah. Dreamcatcher was fucking weird. Dreamcatcher seemed like him trying to recapture Stand By Me in a modern time with like aliens.
Well, he was like heavily on Oxycontin when he wrote it.
When is he not heavily on some kind of drug?
Not anymore. He stopped. He's a better person now.
Needful Things, that's about the devil in a small Maine town. I think that has
that's based on Castle Rock. That's the town in that.
The sheriff in that movie, I forgot his name. He's a really good actor. Chat will know.
Ow.
Dr. Sleep. Yeah, Dr. Sleep is the upcoming sequel to The Shining. You're getting a grown-up Danny Torrance.
I mentioned Dr. Sleep. It said it on the thing. It didn't say 2018. It said, oh, yeah, it's 2019. Never mind. Fuck. Never mind, chat. You're right. It has not happened yet. The Shining isn't based on Stephen King, though. Oh, wait, yeah, it is. Never mind. I'm thinking something else.
He wrote the book.
I was thinking something else. I'm sorry. I'm distracted. Moppy's attacking me.
Yeah, Zach. Needful Things. Somebody tell me who the sheriff, the main character in Needful Things, is, because he's a good actor. Can't remember his fucking. He's in the Westworld show and some other shit.
Oh, you
What's
mean the
his
show?
something Harris?
You mean the show Jar Jar Abrams made that's based off of a movie?
Ed Harris. Thank you, Taz. Yeah, Ed Harris. He's a great actor. What were you saying?
I was saying, oh, you mean Westworld, the TV show that's based off of a movie that Jar Jar Abrams wants to steal everything from because Jar Jar Abrams is unoriginal?
Yeah, because he's got no stories of his own. That's what happens when you give a fanboy a career. The Tommyknockers. It's a terrible TV show.
Yeah, it is. I said that earlier.
So bad. I think it's got that porn star that turned movie star in it.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. She's an old, like, vintage chick. Everybody will know who she is.
Vintage porn.
Huck, Ron Perlman was the sheriff in Desperation.
Yeah,
and he's like a demon.
He's possessed by attack. It's supposed to be like a realm shifting god because it's from like multiple Stephen King universes.
Tracy Lords, that's right, Taz. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, the demon in the old mining cave, Huck.
That's also not set in Maine. That's set in the Midwest.
Well, yeah, because he's got to get out of Maine every now and then.
That's why he did with the whole thing with the stand. It goes all over the world because he has to show that Maine's everywhere. Cindy said Tommyknockers is so bad, but she still likes it. Yeah, I mean there are some of the movies that we're mentioning that they're guilty pleasures and they've got a place in people's hearts. And even though some of them are bad, they're kind of, you like that they're bad. Just watch Graveyard Shift or The Mangler if you want good Stephen King. Or The Mist. Yeah, The Mist too, I guess. I mean, because you're going to get a Frank Darabont version of The Mist. Yeah. And it's way better. Yeah. Frailty is not that bad. For what it is. Frailty kind of reminds me of a earlier version of 10 Cloverfield Lane, just in tone and like independent budget feel that it has to it. Yeah. Where's my list here? Because I know there's shit we haven't brought up yet. 11/22/63. Oh, the JFK one. I have that book. Yeah. With James Franco. Yeah, that's garbage. Rock says Frailty isn't King. Frailty isn't King, Rock? Tell me more, please. Warped didn't like The Mist. That's okay. It's not for everybody. Under the Dome. Oh, God. Yeah, that too. Oh, fuck. Which I think the original story is about some... it's aliens. It's like, yeah, but they're like adolescents. And like they've just come to Earth to fuck around. Yes, Drama Queen. We're talking about Stephen King. We're talking everything Stephen King. So if you've got something you want us to discuss, bring it up. There's so much stuff to talk about. I mean, Red, Diary of Ellen Rimbauer, Kingdom Hospital. Yeah, Kingdom Hospital, which we know why that was made because he's got to get over getting hit by a van. Drama Queen says she liked Misery the book, but not so much the movie. We were talking. We like the movie over here. Yeah, I mean the book's probably okay, but I really do not stand. I'm sure I can't. I'm just stumbling over myself. Don't mind me. I did that for comedic effect. I was just gonna say I just can't really stand Stephen King's writing too much. Early stuff, it's all right. Other things past that, not really. He's got a couple. I think it's more of his quantity over the quality. Yeah. And the quantity is what makes him the quote unquote king of horror. Yeah. Because he writes so much. When it really should be Dean Koontz. Yeah, Dean Koontz is a lot better than Stephen King. I agree 100%. Oh, there's the show Mr. Mercedes. Oh, yeah. Which I watched the first season and I just shrugged my shoulders. Meh. Well, maybe it was a Benz instead. It's Mr. Benz instead of Mr. Mercedes. Oh, yes, that's right. I wonder. They probably went to a car lot in Piedmont. Got a good deal over there. Drama Queen says, my entire childhood, my mother read all his books as they were released, his and Dean Koontz, so I have them all. That's good. Strog says Sleepwalkers. Yeah, I mentioned Sleepwalkers. That's awful. Sleepwalkers is fucking terrible, but it's got like the
It's got the most cameos by horror directors I think I've ever seen in my
There's
life.
literally this guy that's a cop in this thing, right? In fucking Sleepwalkers, that he has a cat in his patrol car with him. Like it's just relaxing. It's like if I was a cop and Moppy was with me.
Yeah,
And he
which
gets a
I think we
pencil,
need memes of that.
and he has a pencil shoved through his throat at a certain point, and he's still not dead when that
No,
happens.
that's not going to kill you. Are you kidding? A puncture wound to the throat? You're not going to bleed out and choke on your own blood? I mean, maybe it depends on where it's at.
It
But
was
that's a
like
pretty
right through his
serious wound.
Yeah.
Um,
That movie is so fucking ridiculous.
Rock says Frailty was almost all Bill Paxton's work. He wrote the story and directed it. I did not know that, Rock. So how come I always think of Stephen King? Has Stephen King got anything to do with that?
Probably not.
Maybe I got confused. I thought that they used Stephen King's name to push it.
Probably. What I was gonna say is that the thing that's really creepy about Sleepwalkers as well is the fact that there's the whole thing that they're like cat werewolf people, and they also are incestuous for some reason.
Yeah, the weird sexual shit that happens in Stephen King movies, or books, I should say. It's got the
orgy in the sewer, but technically isn't an orgy, but it's still
it's a train.
Yeah,
it's a gang bang.
Yeah.
And the incestuous cats, and the weird relationship that Carrie has with her mother.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a lot of them.
Yeah.
I think he thinks. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know if you really are thinking when you're on that much.
All those drugs, yeah.
All those drugs, but. Rock says because it's based on the biblical story, The Binding of Isaac, and King likes to use biblical shit to dump on Christians. That's true, he does. You get a lot of that in Children of the Corn.
By the way, the prequel to Salem's Lot is named Jerusalem's Lot, which was originally going to be called the thing for Salem's Lot.
In Israel?
No, it takes place in Maine again. But there's supposed to be some Lovecraftian elements to that too, because he ripped off a lot of Lovecraft stuff for making that.
That's true. He does. He ripped off a lot of Lovecraft, a lot of Matheson.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what he says. One of the names for Randall Flagg is Gnarlithotub. So
yeah. Yes, Children of the Corn. We talked about that. Drama queen. It's got its moments too. I see a lot of these things. They have their moments, or they've got an iconic scene that he wrote, or it's in the movie, and it kind of sticks with us. And because there's so many chances for him to give you like an iconic scene because of how much work he puts out.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think it's that quantity
over quality.
Yeah. Let me see. I mean, we've brought up a lot of stuff, guys. Keep chat if we've missed anything. Stand By Me. I know we talked about that.
Hey kid, you want to see a dead body?
Yeah. Now did you say he made a baseball documentary?
He wrote something about baseball, I think.
Because he loves baseball?
I love that there's sports ball. That sports ball.
Is he a Red Sox fan?
I don't think he is.
Dolan's Cadillac. Rock, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that was one I mentioned.
Is that a short story or a book or a movie?
That's a movie. Yeah.
It's a movie? What's that one about?
I have no idea. I've never seen it.
Rock, what's that movie about? Strog says Graveyard Shift. Yeah, we talked about Graveyard Shift. The big old rat bats.
Rat bats down at the mill.
It's one of the better Stephen King movies, I would say.
Yep, Brad Dourif really makes it too as the exterminator.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna kick your ass, boy, you damn drifter.
Stand By Me was one of Drama Queen's. Now, have you heard about his school shooting book, Rage?
He made a school shooting book called Rage.
It's either a short story or it's a book. I think he may have released it under Richard Bachman, maybe. I don't know. Chat will know better than I. But it's a school shooting book where the kid comes in and he gets these other kids like locked in a room, and they're all there, and they're all kids that bullied him at school, I think.
Okay.
But when he's locked in the room with them because it's like a standoff, it's a school shooting.
Yeah.
He convinces the kids to join his side and go out and start killing other people at the school.
Wow, real classy Stephen King. When did this happen? Was it after a school shooting?
I think it was near in the 70s or something like that, maybe the 80s when he wrote it.
Okay.
So he's probably inspired by the Kent State thing.
Oh,
because
probably.
we know what time frame Stephen King lives in.
1957.
Yep, he's around that time, and everything within like era.
You know, it'd be really funny. At least I think it's kind of funny. What if that was besides people always blaming it on Doom as the inspiration? What if what if the fucking what if the Columbine was based on that? What if they read his books and were like, oh yeah, we should totally do this sometime?
Oh yeah, he didn't get any shit. I think it's because most people don't even know that exists.
Yeah.
And I think it was published, but then he took it out of publishing, so it's kind of a rare thing to have.
Gotcha.
Or it was published in some magazine, maybe. Can't remember. But it's one of those rare things where he isn't embarrassed about it, but he is embarrassed about rage. And I think because he doesn't want to get shit from social justice warriors, because he did that on Twitter when he came out. He was saying things about how they were going after characters, and these characters, like, I wrote white guy, so the guy's fucking white, and then he got chased off Twitter for a couple months and came back after everything cooled down, and he became even more insufferable than he already is.
Yep.
So somebody sat him down and said, "This is how it works now.
There's no more whiteys here."
Right. You push far left progressivism or you get attacked. Yep. And being an old, out of touch man, you think like, well, the youth is always right. And civil rights, man. So I'm back to being a hippie revolutionary now, man.
Yeah. A real stunning and brave, Steven. Thank you.
Yes. Very, very good, Steven. 4 Past Midnight is one that I've never read, but I think I have. She thinks she has.
Okay.
Did y'all talk about Cujo? We mentioned Cujo, Drama Queen, but we kind of passed up on it.
I mean,
because a lot of stuff was getting thrown. We were kind of doing like a rapid fire round.
Yeah, I was just going through stuff. Cujo, most of the time, it's more remembered for like the abusive husband who's an asshole.
Yeah.
But I think the whole thing what Stephen King tries to do, at least what it seems to me, is he makes like authority figures abusive assholes because he doesn't like the idea of anyone. Yeah. Because I think the guy's supposed to be a sheriff or something. He ends up getting killed by the dog. So it's like, well, shit, no one's going to come and help these people now.
In the book, there's a weird handyman that jerks off into like the main character's bra and panties drawer.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I remember that. What's the cheesiest Stephen King monster, says Strog.
The cheesiest Stephen King monster.
Are we just including monsters, or are we including like supernatural individual, like all sort of villains that he has? It's either got to be the Langoliers.
Yeah.
At least their portrayal in.
Or it's either the Langoliers or I'd say the fucking the tow truck, or not tow truck, the trucker's truck that has the Green Goblin's face on it.
Yeah, well, that's better than the Langoliers.
I know, but we're saying cheesy. If we're talking real cheesy, that's
yeah, that's true. I'm surprised. Did they get the trademark for that Green Goblin?
I think they did at the time, yeah. Stephen King made a deal with Marvel because they were going bankrupt at the time because it was in the 90s.
I'm going with the Langoliers. Just because I think they're so...
My CGI is so good.
They're very cheesy when you see them in CGI. Plus, they're really lazy.
For me, I'd say it's a toss-up between the Langoliers and the cat people from Sleepwalkers.
Those are pretty bad.
Yeah.
Zach says cheesiest monster is the Green Meteorite for Creep Show.
Oh, yeah, because it kills Stephen King.
Yeah. Meteor shit.
Meteor shit. I'm a hick.
Warped says, does Steven have daddy issues? Steven's got some kind of issues.
Mental ones, I'd say.
I mean, I can see him being, I can see him with his problems with authority and the way maybe his dad was like this growing up, and maybe his dad was old fashioned and he's like, I'm going to get back. My dad will be a villain in every book I write. Or maybe he's got problems with his mom, because isn't he supposed to be based from it? Isn't he basically the kid with the Munchausen by proxy mom?
I think so, yeah.
Because his mom was always worried about him and never let him go out, and like tried to pretend he had these diseases. Or
yeah, it's funny because he's supposed to be both based on Eddie and Bill. So,
are we saying Stephen King had a stutter?
Yeah, he did, actually. He said he did have a stutter. I had a stutter like Andy Warski and Esau.
Oh, Stephen King, you're a fucking nerd. You're just that's every Stephen King just dumps his issues into his books.
And his characters, yes.
Yeah. Everything, every weak character you see, whether it's a woman or a female, every person who is yelling at black people because they're black, everybody who hates a gay person, it's just all him, like pent up and then spread out amongst all these different stories.
Pretty much, or it's what he thinks people are like instead of what they're really like too.
That's true too. Which I mean, if you lived near Stephen King, or if you lived in Maine, I personally would be kind of insulted by the way he views people from Maine.
Mm-hmm.
All your character, like,
everybody's a hick, racist, ignorant.
He's a crazy person from Maine. I guess you could say he's a maniac.
Left the knee on that one.
Glad I took the time to write that pun down.
Oh, you did? Oh, oh no.
Every weak character, whether it's a woman or female, that's true drama. That's what I said.
He cannot write any characters that are female.
I meant to say a woman or a man. You caught me, drama. Yeah, he can't write female characters for shit. They're all weak as hell.
The only one, I mean, even technically, it is female as well. Pennywise is just a guy's face it wears.
Yeah, and in the minute somebody stands up to it, it's scared as hell.
Yep, it got all scared.
It's super weak.
Yep.
I found something that we forgot to bring up: Dreamscapes and Nightmares.
Oh yeah, the short stories, but that's also a thing that was a miniseries, I believe, too.
Yeah, it was a show on like USA or something.
Yeah.
Strog said, does he use ghostwriters? I don't think he has to use ghostwriters.
He's got his whole family.
Yeah, and I know he does. I think he might do some ghostwriting himself.
Yeah.
Because he helped his son, Owen King, write a book called Sleeping Beauties that apparently was a New York Times bestseller, about a disease that infects women and then they cocoon. And if you try to open the cocoons beforehand, they rage out and kill all the men. Now it says it's written by Owen King and co-written by Stephen King, but when you look at the picture of the book, Stephen King's name is the biggest name on the book, and I don't even think I could see Owen King's name on the front of the book at all.
Overshadow me, Dad, please.
Did he do Insomnia? Zach asked.
Yes, he did do Insomnia.
That movie with Robin Williams and Al Pacino?
I believe so. It's based on the book.
Where the guy has he's an insomniac in Alaska?
I don't think it's that. I remember maybe it is. I don't know. It's not based on the book then. The book's about old people that basically try to fight against ancient evil.
Okay, so then it's not the movie with Robin Williams and Al Pacino.
I don't believe
because that's about a serial killer with insomnia who can't sleep because it's that part because he lives in one of those towns in Alaska where the sun is out for
yeah, it's not based on that.
So. Yeah. Okay. Insomnia was Alien, says Rock. Rock says, in Pennywise's defense, it was pregnant at the time.
Yeah, Pennywise was. That's correct.
Just hormones flowing.
It's a spider thing.
Just a sensitive. You probably just say some mean words to it and it'll cry. Dreamcatcher, Zach, we did talk about Dreamcatcher a little bit. I think the best part of Dreamcatcher is the Morgan Freeman actually plays a villain. And he shoots that guy's fingers off.
Yep.
And I think she shoots some guy in the head. Dreamcatcher has some moments into it. I'm into it until the CGI alien appears. Like
out of the toilet and hits the guy in the anus.
I'm okay with like the ass parasite. Like I'm okay with all that. But when it grows into like an alien.
You know how wrong that just sounded, right?
Yeah.
Okay with the ass parasite.
Look, when you're discussing Stephen King, these are the phrases that come out of your mouth. Because what is it? What is the name of it? I know is it was in some guy's ass and it came out, and it's a parasite alien or something.
It looked like
ass alien.
It looked like a lamprey. Honestly, that's what I thought when looking at the damn thing. And lampreys technically are parasites.
Right. Yeah. And then it's got Duddits at the end, retarded alien boy.
Ass to anus, ass to anus, ass to anus. My ass and my anus.
I'm okay with ass parasites. Jenova 2020. I heard he ghost wrote The Notebook, says Zach.
Probably. I think that's actually I think he's tried to like say that he's done that too.
Is that movie about that girl that has amnesia and can't? Is that romance movie?
I don't remember. I remember The Notebook being bad. That's all I remember.
Isn't there like 3 of them?
There might be a couple. Sorry, Moppy's acting up. I'm trying to get her over.
Moppy, stop acting up. You go ahead. You clip that drama.
And
I'll say it again. I'm okay with ass parasites. It was a nice, clean clip for you.
God.
So Stephen King was born a Methodist,
but
he says he lost his religion in high school.
But he just brings it up so he can continue to bash people.
But he says he still believes in God. He chooses to believe in God.
Okay, Mr.
Even though he's always bashing people who actually do believe in God or have a religion for themselves. Zach, in all caps, wrote, "The Notebook is great. Those old farts stayed with each other through thick and thin."
I just remember other parts being bad about The Notebook, like how it's like presented.
Is it presented terribly?
I fucking don't.
I've never seen that movie, so I really wouldn't know too much about it.
I don't give too much of a shit about romantic comedies.
That seems like a movie you're forced to watch on a date night.
Yeah.
Zach, were you forced to watch it? And it's Skunk's favorite movie, so single manly tears.
Single manly tears.
It's always rough watching men cry, I'll tell you.
Look, I'm not going to watch a movie that's going to try to pull up my heartstrings all the time.
What heartstrings? You don't have any heartstrings.
Oh, right. There's a hole there.
Your body's rotting as we speak.
Or maybe I have a new body made of steel. Steel skeletons.
Huck says, "I've never seen it all the way." Warp never seen it either. Huck asks, "Don't they die in the same bed?"
Yeah, they do.
That'll get me crying real quick.
They do die in the same bed.
They loved each other.
She can't remember him because she's got fucking Alzheimer's. That's what I remember out the Notebook. So he has him read the whole Notebook thing so she remembers parts of it.
Right, but doesn't she forget by the time she turns the page?
Something, yeah, like
she just forgot what she just read. So what's the fucking point?
Yeah. Well, he's reading it too.
Is that like 51st Dates, where he's got to keep reminding her every day? He's got to re-win her love. Ugh, so much effort. It's so sad, says Zach.
Look, they're old. It's gonna happen. That's life.
The Rock says the only acceptable movies for men to cry at is Old Yeller and Terminator 2.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, the end of it, or an Animal Farm when they send Boxer to the glue factory. That gets me every time. Huck says, "Hey man, I cry at that damn Disney movies sometimes."
What damn Disney movie?
Which Disney movies? I bet Lion King.
I cry at the end of Thor Ragnarok.
Mufasa dies. I cried at the end of fucking
Kevin Smith.
when Thanos clicked his fingers, man. What's the name of that movie? Infinity War?
Yeah.
Drama says, all my friends look at me like I just punched their kid in the face when I tell them I've never seen The Notebook. Warp says, LOL, my son almost cried at the cop movie where one of them dies at the end. Can't remember the name of it. Taz says, Turner and Hooch.
Yeah, that's the cop movie.
Zach says, to be fair, Rock, I cry every time Edward Furlong lives at the end of Terminator 2. Warped Reflection says they cry at his kid cries at End of Watch was the name of the movie.
End of Watch, okay.
Infinity Bore says Strog. Yeah, I mean, Marvel movies are pretty fucking bad. It's just a product in your face. Watch these flashy colors. Watch this. This woman's gonna punch this patriarchal man into space.
She doesn't even have an ass. That was the whole selling point of Carol Danvers originally.
And that didn't even fucking work.
It didn't.
There's a lot better asses around there. As much as I don't like, what's her name? Who plays Black Widow? Oh,
you mean Scarlett Johansson?
As much as I don't like her, she's got a great ass on her.
Yeah.
Taz says Bicentennial Man.
So it's a
good movie. Is that a Stephen King movie, Taz? It's a good movie. Brie Larson had an ass double.
Yeah, she did actually. Yeah.
I heard her new movie Unicorn Store is awful, and it flopped on Netflix, and even women writers weren't giving it a good fucking review.
Yeah.
Wasn't Carol an asshole of an alcoholic in the comics?
She was originally, no. I think, but the whole thing is that she was screwing frickin' Marvel. That's how she got her powers. She got she basically got super STDs to get her powers. Cause he's a fucking what's the race called again?
Krull.
Krull, yeah, he's a Krull.
So she got STDs from a Krull.
Yep.
And she was drunk when she did it.
Yep. And she crashed her plane afterwards at like the Bender next day because she's in the Air Force, and that's how she got her powers. Yeah.
She passed out from the Krull AIDS.
The Krull AIDS.
The Kree. Rock says it's the Kree.
It's the Kree. It's the Kree. Yeah.
The Kree, the Krull. I can't keep up with all the Marvel lore.
Well, that was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko way back and everything else. They were deciding how the universe of the Marvel world came together before it was being made with just being World War II comics and horror comics a long time ago. Before there were superheroes.
She was retconned to be half Kree.
Yeah, she was.
Skrull. That's right, Huck.
The Skrull. Yeah.
I was calling them the Krull.
Yeah, the shape-shifting goblins from space.
Marvel passed his powers to her when he was dying of cancer.
Yeah, that's another thing they retconned too.
Sounds really bad.
Oh, it was.
And what year was this happening?
Oh, for the cancer one?
For any of it.
Well, the other stuff happened way back in like the 70s. But the cancer thing with Marvel is more recent. That happened like in 2015.
Of course.
When the SJWs decided he wasn't a good enough character no more.
Who?
Marvel.
Oh, okay. Of course.
Had to get replaced by a strong, independent woman who
Captain
became a lesbian.
Marvel should be a woman, but not a black woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Who was the original first Captain Marvel?
Should be a white woman with no ass.
Yeah.
And she'll teach the black girl. She'll teach the little black girl to be a superhero.
Uh-huh. Yeah, those whites always teaching the blacks. I get it. Thank you, Disney.
Cheese Larson might be. I think she's more insufferable than Stephen King.
Yeah.
She's a fucking cunt.
Yeah.
She is just a straight up snobby little bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer Lawrence got like that a little bit. And now nobody will see her movies and she doesn't get any work.
Yeah. What was
Rock says no, Marvell died in the 80s. It was one of the first mainstream comic stories to deal with someone dying of cancer like that.
Oh, did he?
Drama says not Stephen King, but did y'all see The Replicas?
The Replicas?
I have not seen that.
I don't know if I have either. I thought he died like more recently though, or something. They made her like fucking. Let me see this. I need to see this. I gotta look this up now.
Okay, you looked that up. Taz says the best non-Stephen King movie was In the Mouth of Madness. You're right, Taz. We talked about that. We talked about that on the last stream when we talked John Carpenter. We brought up The Mouth of Madness and Sutter Kane and the whole like how that's based on Stephen King.
Yeah,
because John Carpenter and Stephen King, they like to dock each other.
And he has a gay son too, Marvel, by the way. Hulk King is gay. Let me see. When did he? Appearance of death. No, it's okay. Look, it says appearance of death of Secret Avengers 28, August 2012. No, he did not die from then. He was probably dealing with the cancer before then. But
are you saying Rock is wrong?
Yeah.
Rock, you're just gonna take that. I did say Doc Strog. Was Cat's Eye a Stephen King book?
Yes.
I know it was a movie or an anthology movie.
It's based. I think it's based on short stories.
Drama Queen says Keanu Reeves is the main character in The Replicas. I know what you're talking about. I've never seen it though. She says it's a good movie though.
Yeah. But yeah, it says 2012 Rock when he died.
Warp
Not
says,
the 80s.
Warp says yes, he did. He did die in the 80s.
It says 2012. I'm looking at the fucking wiki right now.
We're looking at the internet right now about Marvel. Huck says the one with the little gremlin and the cat fighting. Yes. Rock posted a Wikipedia Marvel entry for you that proves his point. 80s, then Monica Rambeau and his kids became Captain Marvel before Carol, who was the 6th Captain Marvel, including Shazam.
I mean, Shazam was the first one anyways. That's where that name comes from.
Clausen says Stephen King was a mediocre author. I think we agree. He was
okay. Look, it's okay. During the War with the Phoenix and Avengers, Captain Marvel was again resurrected. So he's died before and come back. So maybe he died for real for one time.
So was chat right?
Maybe.
Maybe or yes.
I don't fucking know. I don't give enough a shit about this character.
So yes, okay. Chat was right.
I mean, partially right. He came back anyways, like all comic characters fucking do. Should have known that one. But he came back again, blackened. Oh, his weakness is his weakness is called he's blackened, and it's cancer. What?
Sickle cell. That's what got him.
Marvel was exposed to nerve gas contained a cancer stone from Robert Hunter, who had called himself Nitro during their fight, which Nitro lost. He was able to steal the canister of gas, but in doing so, he himself could avoid breathing in some nerve gas, which is also carcinogenic and caused cancer cells to develop over time. Kree used the medical term blackened to refer to the disease known as cancer on Earth. His quantum bands kept the disease at bay for many years. Rick Jones appealed to the scientific hero to find a cure for Marvel's cancer, whereupon he found themselves uncomfortable realizing they could have made this kind of effort beforehand for others.
So he died.
Listen, the superhero did manage to develop a tunic that slowed down Marvel's cancer by 20%, but after the long search for the cure, the blackened nerve gas had given him, which he had his disease took a toll upon him, and he died for it. When did he die? Marvel graphic novels #1. When was this?
In the 80s. So Rock was right.
1982.
So Rock was right.
Oh, shut up. He came back anyways.
You gotta give Rock his due. He was right.
Okay, that's the first time he died from cancer. He still had the cancer. Time. Yeah, he came back and died again, like all characters do. Are you happy? Rock. Are you happy? Yeah, you're right. Whatever.
There we go.
I'm
there
mad.
we go.
I'm mad.
Are you gonna read like? Don't read like Esau.
No, I'm really
Shut
not
up,
that.
Rock.
I'm not really that mad, but it's just I find it funny that technically that's his quote unquote first death, and he comes back anyways, like all comic characters do. Of course he does.
I just wanted the facts to be laid out. I don't want anybody leaving here not sure when the first Captain Marvel died.
Yeah, and his children did basically come after him too. There's Quasar. I don't remember if Quasar's his kid or not. I remember Quasar is an important character in the fucking Marvel shit.
Zach said, how did DC, whose main fucking rival was Marvel, let an IP like Captain Marvel slip through their fingers?
Because the DC did not own Captain Marvel at the time. It was by a different comics. It was Wiz Comics for a very long time, and they let that just slip. And that's how they basically got it.
Quasar had different powers.
He did.
Clausen says, clearly Wolverine will kill Thanos. Do you guys remember X-Men 3?
Yeah, that's true. He has killed him before.
Well, didn't they just pick up like X-Men and Fantastic Four and a lot of other Marvel IPs with the Fox merger?
Yeah. They also picked up Alien as well. So I can't wait for the Xenomorphs to be in Kingdom Hearts 27.
The Queen Alien is a new Disney princess now. And I'm sure Ridley will be a Disney princess. You know.
Will the Abomination from the fourth movie?
I'm sure Ridley Scott will be so happy.
Will the child thing, Abomination, be a Disney princess too?
It should be.
Is it the most special Disney princess?
The face hugger can be a Disney. It's got a vagina. They own Spider-Man. I know Sony owns some Spider-Man stuff, right? Or didn't they like pay them to borrow it for?
Well, they paid Marvel originally to borrow it and have it, so that deal's still technically legally binding. They own Venom because of Sam Raimi, and they own a few other Spider-Man villains property-wise too, like Morbius, and that looks so awful that I want to die.
It looks terrible. It's just emo Jared Leto, which is just Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Sony owns all Spider-Man rights. Zach says I'll actually play Kingdom Hearts if Xenomorphs are in it. Huck says Cap was the last one left, and then Silver Surfer missed his chance. Strog says they got Predator and can make a female Predator starring Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, God.
Taz says no, they have a contract with Sony. Clausen, no, they are just making Spider-Man films.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about Spider-Man movies, though.
Spider-Man.
I don't even really care about the Sam Raimi ones. I've never seen Spider-Man as an interesting character. I know a lot of people like him.
I mean, you have to care about the Spider-Man ones Sam Raimi made because Bruce Campbell is in all three of them as a cameo.
Yeah, he's got some great cameos, yeah.
Being an asshole, and being an asshole.
He's overshadowed in the first one by Randy Savage, though.
Yeah, Randy Savage is.
I got you for 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Bonesaw is ready. It's probably my favorite part of those movies. Uncle Ben getting shot is kind of a heartbreaker. Not gonna lie, it's a pretty heartbreaking scene in the first movie. Sam Raimi one, I would say.
I mean, where's his Ready Rice gonna go now?
I don't know. Where is it? And the fact that he like, remember when he was like, oh yeah, we'll paint the kitchen, Uncle Ben, but he forgets all about Uncle Ben.
That's because he's an ass.
Remember how sad that was?
I remember how sad it was when Uncle Ben came back from the grave and then he was Thanos to death.
Oh my God. Twice in a row. Taz says Marissa Tomei is the hottest Aunt May. Yeah. Marissa Tomei is pretty hot. I know she's Aunt May in the new ones with Tim Holland. Is that kid's name?
Tom Holland. And I don't really think she's that hot either.
You don't think she's that hot?
Not looking at the fucking thing I've seen before, she does not look that hot.
She looks pretty hot in Long Way Home or whatever it's called. Homeward Bound. Homecoming.
I don't know. I've seen pictures of it. It does not look that hot.
No, she's got some mojo working.
I don't think so.
She's not bad. No.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Make all the Spideys weep. Blackest Night is better than Infinity War.
Yeah, it is.
Agree 100%. I'm always down with the Lantern Corps, man.
Earth needs all of them, though.
Earth has to have all the fucking lanterns.
Welcome to Comicsgate. My name is Ethan Van Skyver. I hope you've been enjoying our stream so far. Let me draw something here. Go ahead, Zack Snyder. Continue with the...
Comicsgate is important. Yeah, Blackest Night, which is preceded by the Sinestro Wars.
It's preceded by Brightest Day.
Oh, so Sinestro Wars, then Blackest Night, then Brightest Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Sinestro Wars kind of leads into
it's at the ground and everything else.
I love the Yellow Lantern will show up and start killing everybody.
I love the fact that a fucking Black Hand just offs his whole family, then offs himself because a voice told him to, and it's Necron.
Mm-hmm. And he comes back.
Yep.
It's a pretty badass Black Lantern.
I mean, he always had that anyways. He had, like, the fucking... It wasn't really the black ring.
Who saves the day? Who saves the day?
Is it Batman?
No, it's fucking Larfleeze. Larfleeze, the best lantern. Orange Lantern. Emerald Twilight, Emerald Dawn, Blackest Night, Brightest Day.
Okay.
So it must be in that order. So Sinestro Corps must come in at some point.
Scarecrow was really happy to get a ring, only to lose it to Lex after he beats him up.
Strog said Infinity Gauntlet in the 90s was good. The movie version sucks.
It does suck, yes.
Huck says Uncle Ethan is a good guy. Yes, he is. I mean, I love Uncle Ethan. What about you?
I think he's all right.
Yeah. I think he's important. He's an important voice to have.
Yeah.
And I think the way he handles the social justice warriors is probably the best way you can handle them.
With a shovel.
Yeah. Mock them, let them bury themselves, and ignore them for the most part.
Yeah.
Put a spotlight on it and just deal with it with a fucking sense of humor because they're irrelevant nobodies.
Yep.
Nort was the best doggo lantern, says Taz.
I know who Nort is.
Zach says mine. He's reciting the Orange Lantern Oath.
Oh, good.
What's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine. Mine, mine, mine. Mine, mine, mine.
Larfleeze is a horse alien.
Let's just, we can all agree, and I won't look at chat for this. We can all agree that DC is the best.
I mean, it's not that much better than Marvel, though.
Marvel is for... DC is for edgy soy boys, and Marvel's just for little soy boys. And we'll see. I'm not even going to look at chat because I don't care.
Well, I'm gonna say that one of the best characters from Marvel was made by a guy who did a lot of DC comics, anyways.
Yeah,
Marv Wolfman, and that is Bullseye.
Yeah, a lot of those guys go back and forth too.
Yeah,
especially like.
I actually read a Bullseye, like a more recent Bullseye comic. I have the full thing. I bought it when I was still looking at comics, and it's good. Like, it has no stupid shit in it. Bullseye just fucking goes around killing people, and you like watching him do it. It's like watching a fucking movie. A Bullseye just not giving a fuck.
Yeah, I'm sure there's definitely some shit out there that's definitely good.
Yeah.
Because I definitely like the X-Men.
Yeah.
Well, some of them anyway.
Well, you won't like the X-Men anymore because they get all social justice progressive.
Of course they do. They've got to fight for them civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
Chat says Huck says I'm DC tolerant. Zach says Jenova made the list. Rock says I still want a Spawn movie with a white guy playing pre-Spawn Al Simmons and a black guy playing the crispy burn Spawn. Rock, you're gonna get Jamie Foxx in the Spawn movie, so good. So
if that ever happens,
so wish granted, because Jamie Foxx is a white guy in black skin. Clausen says Dark Horse over both DC and Marvel. I might actually agree with that.
Yeah, he's got a point. That's the better comic
Cindy,
series.
I said the X-Men. I like the X-Men, even though they turned social justice. But before that,
I mean, they've
like
always
X-Men animated from the 90s.
I mean, they've always been that, though. They've been social justice for a very long time.
They turned Iceman into a faggot. Yes,
they did. Yes, they did.
Iceman got turned gay by Jean Grey. Warp says, I always wanted another Spawn movie until the last few years with all the SJW feminist crap.
Todd McFarlane is not a good writer.
No, he's not. He's a very sensitive little boy, too.
Yeah.
Huck says, the first comic I ever read was Shadowhawk versus Savage Dragon. Gene, what do you know about that?
Well, Savage Dragon's writer is always political, too, so have fun with that.
I don't know. Is it still around?
Yes, and he's still very political.
Is he still very political?
Yes.
No. It seems they got to push that in everything.
But he's one of the few writers that did it way before it was a thing, too. Making him a mega faggot.
You would think his career would have flopped.
Nope.
HBO Spawn was best Spawn.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That's as good as it would ever get.
I'm a big Spaz fan, Spawn fan.
Spaz.
I've even got a Spawn tattoo.
I would
say
it
proves I'm really into Spawn.
I would say too, if we're talking about Image comics and good comics that come from them, I would say that another one is actually the Max. It's another good Image comic.
The Max.
Yep. They made it into an animated series as well.
Okay, I actually think I've seen that cover art.
Yeah. It's very interesting. The guy's like got a huge jaw, like clawed hands, purple. It's really distinct art style.
Huck wants to know if the dude was an original Image guy from Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay. Did the SJW The Tick in the new series? Strog, I watched the first season of The Tick. It wasn't SJW, it seemed like to me. It seemed like because it was a comedy, so they focused more on the comedy aspect of The Tick. Now I know there's a new season either coming out or it's out already. So I don't know if that's social justice or not. But the first season that I watched was not. I actually enjoyed the first season. It was pretty funny.
You could always just watch the original not animated Tick, but the original Tick movie where it's got the guy, I forget who it is, the guy who voices Brock Sampson playing the Tick.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's the new one, right?
No, that's the old one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the old movie.
Oh, that's right. They got a different guy to play the Tick this time around.
Yes.
It's the guy it's the roommate from Shaun of the Dead that turns into a zombie.
Yep.
The Mask comics, says Taz. I actually have the first graphic novel upstairs of The Mask.
Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's darker.
Yep.
It's not as kiddish as the Jim Carrey version. He's almost like actually a serial killer in that.
It depends on who wears the mask.
Yeah, but it's very it can get very violent.
Yep. Stanley Ipkiss actually dies in the first. I think he dies in the first issue you have.
Yeah, it's like I think it's got a couple issues in one. You know how they put those together.
Yeah. I remember that. They're actually the mask is done with now. The creator stopped making it in like 2012 or so.
Oh no. Patrick Warburton.
Yeah, Patrick Warburton.
6th episode, but yeah, he's good. He's funny, dude. Doesn't Zoe Quinn do a comic? Asked Warped. I'm sure she does.
Who gives a fuck?
I'm sure she tried to, and then she went on and fucked somebody to get a review. I'm trying to see if we missed any. Has Stephen King ever done any superhero type movies? Is there a way for us to blend them or no?
I don't
to blend these topics.
I don't think there is. I don't think Stephen King's done any superhero comics unless you count I mean, there's been Stand Comics, there's been Dark Horse, like Dark Tower Comics, excuse me. All these others that
I mean, Creep Show is all about comics, basically.
Yes, it's all about the old
horror comics.
Horror comics, yes. The ones that
is that what they want?
EC Comics, there's the Vault Comics, and there's also the Suspense Comics. Those are all three comics. Those are old ones. And those funny thing about that is those companies went on to make or be subsidiated into Marvel from Atlas Comics.
Which sucks, let's face that.
Yeah. There should be more horror comics, honestly.
Marvel doesn't need to eat up everything.
I mean, that's what happened originally a long time ago.
But there definitely should be more horror comics, I agree. Yeah. More horror everything, as long as there's a fucking standard to it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess you can't get both all the time. You can either have a standard or you can
I don't know if I would ever count Spawn as horror comics, even though it's horror themed. Because most of the time it's just over the wall, out of place. Not everything's the way it should be because Todd McFarlane's writing is so bad.
Yeah. Just read Faust.
Yeah.
Or watch the Faust movie.
Or watch a Faust comic.
Or watch a Faust comic. 50s Man. Says Strog. Yeah, both of them. Says Rock. Oh, he played Darkness. I think he's replying to Huck.
Yeah, the Darkness is also a Image comic character as well.
Clausen says, where horror is concerned, Edgar Allan Poe was high above Stephen King.
Yeah.
I would have to agree. I mean, I think Edgar Allan Poe is one of those people who
influenced like everybody.
Yeah, influenced everybody. He was, he wasn't respected in his time.
Nope. I mean, technically he was. There were a lot of people.
Right, but it was really till later where everybody kind of.
Yeah, and then there's that one faggot who waited for him to be dead and wrote salacious stuff about him. That became quote unquote his historian. Yeah, what a faggot.
And I don't understand, man. You got to really hate somebody, or
he really did
jealous of somebody.
He really did both. He hated and was really jealous of.
It's just a waste of time and effort. Yeah. I think there's a Nightmares or Dreamscapes and Nightmares episode Stephen King wrote about an Edgar Allan Poe pen. Mm-hmm. And if you write it, it turns things into like a horror movie and people die.
Possibly.
I can't remember if that's a thing or not.
I remember the fact that there's a Tales from the Dark Side adaptation of Stephen King short story Typewriter of the Gods.
Yes, that's true. And that's also, Tales of the Dark Side is and I think he originally published that in the New York Times. And I think it was his first published work, maybe in like the 70s at some point. Because he did publish some things in his school newspapers around like in the 60s. Rock says, I like how King is so boring. We moved on to comics.
Yeah. He's just not that exciting. I'm sorry.
That's what happens. I mean, we sat here and we listed all the King movies we can and all the books and everything. And it's really hard for Stephen King to hold your attention.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you see a list of everything and you're like, yeah, I know that movie. Yeah, I know that movie. Yeah, I know that. But nothing really, there might be one or two here or there that grab your attention. Or you really feel a connection to, but most times you're just skimming through a list of somebody's work. That's how mediocre it really is. Clausen says Lovecraft was overrated.
I don't. Ooh. Well, I mean, to be fair, out of the trilogy of writers that Lovecraft came from, he's one of the most influential to horror next to Edgar Allan Poe. But if we're talking about for the genres of, sword and sorcery, is Robert E. Howard, and that leaves a longer impact. He was the one that basically got noticed way before Lovecraft, and even the one I think doesn't get noticed as much by Lovecraft fans or everything else today is Clark Ashton Smith, whose work is basically high fantasy, high sci-fi, high poetry. It's a lot of good stuff. I think more people should read him.
Taz, you're right. It wasn't a Dreamscapes and Nightmares episode. It was a Friday the 13th episode from the series from Friday the 13th. You're right, Taz. I got those confused. Hi, Sweets. I said hi to Sweets. Strog says, did you watch the Stand miniseries? It was so cheesy.
It was cheesy, but I like it actually a lot. I
think it's a good story, and I think you're right to say that it deserves a remake or a reboot at least.
Yeah.
Rock says Lovecraft's cat has the same name as one of mine, Niggerman.
They call him actually in an adaptation, so they get around that. It's a Rats in the Wall adaptation made by Brian Yuntz. They call him Voodoo instead.
Oh yeah, because that's better.
Yeah.
Oh, what else? What else are the blacks attached? Well, they love their voodoo.
Well, they mentioned it's a throwaway one. Like he's like, "Oh, my brother was practicing voodoo in the Caribbean or some shit."
I guess it's better than calling him chicken and watermelon. Derlith Smith.
Derlith.
Yeah.
August Derlith.
Lumley.
Yep.
Taz is, I don't know what that are, those authors.
Well, what's he got? He's got
Trash Can Man.
The Trash Can Man.
They should have called him Mooly, says Rock. Mulyan. Our cat, Mulyan.
Yeah, August Derlith is basically a really big Lovecraft fanboy. He tried to make a good versus evil thing for Lovecraft stuff when it really never had any of that beforehand.
Right. I think that's what happens when you go and you leave work. There's always some fanboy or other people who are, they're trying to give it their own spin and get into it by using your work.
Another person that did a lot of Lovecraft stuff. There's a few friends of his. Not Frank. It's Fritz Lieber. He was a son of a famous director, I think. But he wrote a few Lovecraftian styled stories. He was a friend of Lovecraft's too. There's Henry Kuttner, another smaller author who didn't get as much attention. Another friend of Lovecraft as well. There's E. Backup Long, who was he was an actual friend of Lovecraft.
Chambers. What about Chambers?
Robert W. Chambers was way before Lovecraft.
Okay.
So he was influenced by him along with Lord Dunsany, but they didn't ever meet.
Right, because we brought up the last time we were talking about Lovecraft, I brought up The King in Yellow.
Yeah, and that's where that comes from, is Lord Dunsany's short stories. The Repair of Reputations is a big one. That's the first one you read where they talk about bringing back death chambers or some shit.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, and there's also the one you probably read, which was The Yellow Sign. That's the most famous one of the whole thing, about the guy who's the painter and he finds the painting thing, or maybe that's a different one in there.
Yeah, it's like
he's painting the girl, and it's all short stories in the entire thing. Some are actually good, others are The Yellow Sign and Repair of Reputations are the ones that people like the most of the time.
Farfad and the Grey Mouser.
I have no idea.
Says Taz. He has no idea. Cthulhu Mythos Arters made them elemental aspects.
Yeah. Ramsey Campbell's another, he was way after. He came up with this, like, headless god with sucking mouths on its hands.
It's fucking weird.
It is.
It sounds like some Pan's Labyrinth shit.
It kind of is, yeah. Before Pan's Labyrinth.
Right. And so Lovecraft, a lot of Guillermo del Toro's work has Lovecraft-inspired themes around it, especially Hellboy.
A lot of people and a lot of artists were really inspired by Lovecraft's work, so I don't think you could say he's totally, fully underrated by any means, because people seem to know his stuff, at least when you mention it.
Yeah, and he was a big inspiration for Stephen King, especially Pennywise, and a lot of the Dark Tower stuff, I guess you could say.
Yep.
And even, a lot of his books, you could say are kind of Lovecraft inspired, because even The Shining has a whole like theme of like isolation and paranoia and like insanity around it.
Yep.
Rock says he likes how the Japanese have made sexy elder god manga.
Of course he does, because he's the one that mentioned the Shoggoth waifu. Yeah, I know, Rock. You got to go to Antarctica to find that, all right? That's all I'm going to say about that.
Sexy Shoggoths.
Yeah. Well, Rock, you have to remember that the Shoggoths were the slaves for the elder things anyways, which are the cucumber aliens. So then they're Negroes, you know.
That's all in what's the one where they go up the mountain?
It's at the Mountains of Madness.
Yeah, at the mountain.
It's in Antarctica.
I've heard there's supposed to be a Guillermo del Toro adaptation coming.
He said that for years, and he's never done it.
Yeah, And by the time we get it, he's out of his prime already.
Yeah, he was out of his prime when he made Mimic.
Rock says, holy fuck, they did make a sexy Shoggoth.
Yeah, there's a few of them. Thanks, Japan.
Taz says, Clive fucking Barker. We've talked about Clive a lot on this show.
Yep.
We like his work.
Yes.
His books are good.
Yep.
Well, most of them are. Most of his movies are good.
Mm-hmm.
Nightbreed, Hellraiser.
Yep.
Midnight to Meat Train was all right. It wasn't the best movie, but it had its moments in it. Vinnie Jones is a pretty damn good actor.
Yep.
And I think Bradley Cooper's in that movie.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. Sweet says Cold Hard Canyon was the last true one I adored, to be honest. Strog says I like cosmic horror that Lovecraft inspired. That's what he prefers about Lovecraft.
Well, yeah, there's Thomas Ligotti, definitely, if you want to talk about cosmic bleak horror like that.
Oh yeah, I've got one of his books upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
The Conspiracy Against the Human Race.
Yep.
It's a nonfiction book, but it's one of the scariest horror books I've ever read.
Is it about the Chosen?
No, it's got a lot of nihilist aspects to it.
I'm surprised they don't come up. Maybe you should read it again. Maybe that's the biggest conspiracy of all. That you have to read between the lines to figure out.
Oh, no, now I'm going to reread that book and be like, oh my God, he's talking about the fucking Jews. Should have had my glasses on the first time I read this book.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Hey, Weeb.
Everybody's all filing in. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, so now we got to re-go over Stephen King everything.
Well, Gary Busey and Silver Bullets, the only reason that film makes anything, and especially the kid with the magic powers because he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah. But he's got a rocket wheelchair. Don't we all want a rocket wheelchair?
I don't want to be in a wheelchair, so no.
Sweet says, can I get an honorable mention for Christopher Pike as far as young adult horror goes?
Okay. I don't know who Christopher Pike is.
Name me a book Christopher Pike did. Is he the one who did those? Is he the one who did that book about those fucking weird kids at the orphanage?
Probably.
I can't remember the name of that book. Sweets will know. Sweets, tell us a scary book by Christopher Pike. The Last Vampire. The Last Vampire Monster. Are these Christopher Pike related, Ron?
I have no idea. But yeah, as I said before, probably the best Stephen King movies that there are is the It 2017.
That's really good, yeah.
Graveyard Shift.
Yeah, very good.
And I name a
Dead
third
Zone.
one.
That's what you want.
Well, that's a miniseries though.
Oh, okay. The Christopher Walken one?
Yeah, it's a miniseries.
Is there a Stephen King book not set in Maine? Actually, there is.
Desperation.
Corn. Desperation.
The Stand isn't set in Maine. Some characters come from there, but it's not set in Maine.
Right. Do characters in Children from the Corn come from Maine?
I don't believe so.
What about Desperation?
Maybe there's like one character from Maine in it.
Sweets Parade said the last vampire series he did, I can't remember the name of the main characters in that, but there was a specific short story anthology he did that had some very clever stories in it.
Okay, well, Christopher Pike gets an honorable shout out. I've never read his work though, so I can't say what it's like.
He's not the author I was thinking of. I feel like I've heard that name, Christopher Pike, but
I don't feel like I have.
People are just listing Stephen King things again. Mist, The Stand, Shining, Mangler.
Well, yeah, Mangler's good because Robert Englund's in
it. Mean, what do you think out of those that I just mentioned, what's the best one?
The Mangler.
The Mangler is better than The Shining, The Stand, and The Mist.
Well, I'm gonna say it's better than for film wise.
I think The Mist is better.
No, I think The Mangler's better. Go fight me in real life.
Fight me IR. We could just sit here and argue over each other all day.
I just think it's better because it's a stupid ass concept that goes really well with being a stupid ass concept.
But didn't you say the movie changed a lot from the book?
From The Mangler? I don't think so.
No? Okay. I
Maybe it changes a little bit, but I don't remember. I said that Lawnmower Man changes a lot from the short story from the book.
Dark Tower wasn't in Maine.
Yeah, it's technically not in Maine. It's
That's
somewhere
true. Even in the movie, it's not. It's like New York City or some shit.
Yeah, a bastion of places you want to be. New York City.
We did mention Gerald's Game earlier, Sweets.
The Hallmark movie, yeah.
Clearly, Steven's best work of Strog Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly, because it's a fucking lifetime. They called it the unfilmable short story or something like that. And then they got Flanagan, who everybody seems to like Flanagan now. I don't really like Flanagan, but they got him to make it. And because it came out after it, everybody was like praising it. But that movie is so bad.
Yep.
I felt embarrassed watching it the entire time.
Yeah.
The Running Man, which we've talked about, which is a very like on the nose attack at television. And like the government runs the television.
Firestarter, we've mentioned as well.
Firestarter. Rose Red, although it was made for TV. And
Kingdom
was
Hospital
in San Francisco.
Kingdom
Hospital is so fucking bad. What's up with that anteater? Like, I know it's like a balancer of good and evil.
It's part of the fucking Dark Tower things where it's one of the totems.
Did he write that book while he was in his hospital bed recovering from getting struck by a van?
He wrote like the second half of it, yeah, in the hospital bed.
Just pull the plug. Somebody just sneak in and pull the fucking plug on his machine.
Yeah, it was going to be a lot better than it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse.
And then I think they made 11/22/63. I think that was a play.
It's a book. I got it. It's not a play. It's basically like, what would happen if JFK was never killed?
Well, I think it's a play now.
I'm sure it is.
And then I think because the play was quote unquote successful, they made the television show with James Franco.
Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get up for a second.
Oh, don't do too much work.
And I'm gonna open the Tommyknockers and read a section of it.
Okay, you're gonna read a section of the Tommyknockers.
Man,
you've got a lot of books. You got a lot of good Kindle over there.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, here we go. We're on what? I don't fucking know what chapter this is, but here we go. A marvel. His tote bag wasn't lost after all. It was lying upside down on the beach just above the high tide line, unzipped, looking at the gardener like a big leather mouth biting in the sand. He picked it up and looked inside. Everything was gone. Everything had frayed, even his frayed undies. He pulled off a toad's imitation leather bottom. The 20 was gone too. Found hope too quickly vanished. There. That was a paragraph from Stephen King. Would you like another one from a different book?
Yeah, give me another paragraph from a different book. Make it and make it the part where he says faggot 100 times.
No, I got the 11/22/63 right here at the moment because it's on the ground.
Audiobook by Gene Skinner coming soon.
All right. I don't know. I'm on page 460. When Lee and Martha returned to the United States, they lived in sad procession in a sad procession of low-rent apartments, including that of New Orleans I'd already visited. But based on Al's notes, I thought they were only needed focus on. One at 24th West Neely Street in Dallas. The other was Fort Worth. And there's where I went after in visit to Silent Mike's. I had a map of the city, but still had to ask directions 3 times. It ended with elderly black woman checking a mom and pop who avoided me to the right way. When I finally found what I was looking for, I was surprised that I had been delayed to relocate. The ass end of Mercedes Street was unpaved hard pan of line with crumbling houses a little better than sharecropper stacks. It spilled into a huge, mostly empty parking lot where tumbleweeds blew across the crumbling asphalt. Beyond the lot was a back cylinder block warehouse. Pitted in the whitewashed, leather fines fitted later, property of Montgomery Ward, and trespassers will be prosecuted and police note taken. Police take note. Okay.
That sounded terrible.
It did. Well, let's pick up another book. We got Dreamcatcher here.
Oh my God, you've got the book for Dreamcatcher?
Yes.
What are you?
I'm very regretful of my life.
Who even are you?
I told you I had a Stephen King phase when I was buying the books.
I
didn't read them, but I have them. It's mostly because they have mentions of Pennywise in it. That's the only reason I bought them. The Eggman's Journey. Oh, God, what is this? Chapter 11. Suicide, Henry had discovered, had a voice. It wanted to explain itself. The problem was it didn't speak much English. Mostly it laughed in an own fractured pigeon. Pigeon?
So he's talking pigeon, huh?
It's talking pigeon. Okay, let's keep reading. But it didn't matter, just the taking seemed to be enough. Once Henry allowed suicide its voice, his life improved enormously. He hadn't been even nice when he slept again. Not a lot of them, but enough, and had never been really that bad. Until today.
Rock says this is the audio version of waterboarding. Weeb wants to know how many Stephen King books you own.
How many? Let's see. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, that's 3 too many.
These are bad ones too. These aren't even good ones. That's Tommy Knockers. That's 11, 26, 63, and that's
Tommy Knockers.
Yep, that's what I read from originally. I just told you that.
I know, but
Who
would buy Tommy Knockers?
I did.
Why?
Because I told you why.
I know, but it's not a good enough answer.
All right, let's see. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. Because that's it. That's Insomnia, and that's Salem's Lot. And let's see. There should be 7. Have to have that mystical, stupid number. Because I have Night Shift somewhere. It's buried.
The best one is buried.
I know, right?
The best one isn't on the shelf in all its glory.
Nope. The others are on the floor. Dreamcatcher, Tommy Knockers, and 1126.
They should be on the fire pit.
Well, we'll go to the fucking sale eventually. I'll make someone buy these for stupid money. Oh, there it is. I found it. Give me a second.
Strog says I read the abridged version of The Stand, and that was too much.
Yep. It is a bit much. It's long.
Rock says I have the Tommy Knockers in hardbound. It's the replacement leg for my couch right now. It's probably the best use you could get out of a Stephen King book.
You're not wrong.
Furniture.
All right, let's read something out of Night Shift to show the difference in quality. All right, let me get something here for the Night Shift. Let's see, what story do I want to read? Jerusalem's Lot, Graveyard Shift. Yeah, we'll read Graveyard Shift. Night Surf is in here too. Yeah, that's the one we didn't mention either. Night Surf.
Is that like Surf Ninjas Must Die?
No, Night Surf has the Keanu Reeves movie. That's what that is.
Point Break?
Oh, I think Point Break is based on Night Surf, if memory serves, right? Maybe.
Point Break is based on Night Surf by Stephen King?
I think it might be.
Chat, you know what to do.
Children of the Corn is in this. The Man Who Loved Flowers on the Road. One for the Road. Sometimes They Come Back is in this too. Trucks is in this as well. But yeah, let's go to Night Shift.
Just read, and then after that, I want you to read me a paragraph from Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, you mean Trucks? Okay.
Yeah.
So I go to 130. All right, let me see. 63. The Mangler's in this too, yeah. I've not read any of this. Night Shift. Night Surf. Whoops, not the wrong one. Give me a second.
So you don't have Night Shift, you have Night Surf.
No, I mean, this whole book is called Night Shift. There's no title in it called Night Shift. That's just what they're called. It's the collection. Give me a minute. Actually, yeah, there's one in here called Night Shift, I think. I just passed it. Oh, no, that's okay. Never mind. Give me a minute.
Everyone's got a wrench because people were getting timed out. So
Graveyard Shift. All right, let's see. Let's go to a random part in Graveyard Shift.
Trucks.
I'm getting there. I got to read Night Shift
first.
Oh
my God.
All right. Susie was sprawled across my thighs, pale and bloated.
Whoa. Necrophilia?
My watch said 5:30, but it stopped. It was still dark out. The surf pointed and smashed. High tide. Mark it at 4:15. Light soon. I got out of bed, went to the doorway. The sweet breeze felt fine against my hot body. In spite of all, I didn't want to die. I went over to the corner and grabbed a beer. There were 3-4 cases of Bud stacked against the wall. It was warm because there's no electricity. I don't mind warm beer like some people do, though. It's just foam and little more. The foam's a little more. Beer is beer. I went back to landing and sat down, pulled the right tab, and drank here.
Beer. Shut up.
Oh, I'm reading Night Surf.
I know. It's gay.
I'm reading Night Surf, not
It's a guy who is obviously a soy boy writing a man's man.
So here we were, with the whole human race wiped out, not by an atomic weapon or biowarfare or pollution or anything grand like that, just the flu. I just put a huge plaque somewhere in Bonneville Slant Flats, maybe Bronze Square, 3 miles to the side, and in a big raised letters we just say, for the benefits of any landing aliens, just the flu. That's Night Surf. I thought I was reading Graveyard Shift, and I was not. Give me a second. I gotta read that again. All right, we're on page 49. But who locked it? Wisconsin asked. Ah, Hal said mockingly, looking at Warwick. A mystery. Listen, Portrait whispered. Oh, God, Wisconsin sighed. Ain't going down there. The soft sound almost expectant. The whisk and patter of 1,000 paws. The squeaking of rats. Could be frogs, Warwick said. Hal laughed aloud. Warwick showed the light down. A staggering flight of wooden stairs led the back stones to the floor beneath. There are not a rat in sight. The stairs won't hold us, Warwick said with finality. Porter took 2 steps forward and jumped up and down on the first step. It creaked, but showed no signs of giving way. I didn't ask you to do that, Warwick said. You weren't the one there when the rats hit, but the rat bit Ray, Porter said softly. Let's go, Hal said. Warwick took the last sardonic look around the circle of men, then walked to the edge with Hal. Wisconsin stepped reluctantly out. Rushing between them. They went down one more at a time. Hal, then Wisconsin, then Warwick. The flash of beams played over the floor. The twisted heave and hundreds of crazy little hills and valleys. The house thumped behind Wisconsin. The hose thumped behind Wisconsin like a clumsy serpent. Okay, that's good enough. Let's read trucks.
Trucks.
I'm getting there, Jenova. Give me a minute. We are going to go to a number I like. We're going to go to page 142.
Did you know Stephen King got hit by a van?
Yeah, I do.
That's funny, huh?
Yeah, it's real funny. I'd laugh at it every time.
I just wanted to bring it up because we hadn't talked about it in a couple minutes.
And he killed the man who hit him.
Whoa, I don't think you could say that. Allegedly.
It seems like it, anyway.
A year later, that man took his own life. We'll say that.
The dozer pulled free. Beyond, I could see a group of trucks waiting.
Trucks, right?
Yeah, I grabbed the cartman.
Okay.
Where are the oil drums? The cook stoves ran a butane gas, but I hadn't seen vents of warm air furnace. Back in the storage room, we said. I grabbed the kid. Come on. We got back up and ran to the storage room. The bulldozer hit again, and the building trembled. 3 or 4 more hits, and it won't be able to come right to the counter to the cup of coffee. There were 2 large 50-gallon drums with feeds to the furnace and turned spigots. There were cartons of empty ketchup bottles near the back door. Get those, Jerry. While he did, I pulled off my shirt and yanked the rags. The dozer hit again and again, and each hit was accompanied by the sound of more breakage. I filled 4 of the ketchup bottles from the spigots, and he stuffed them in the rags. You play football? I asked him. In high school? Okay, pretend you're going in from the 5. Let me tell him about the sports ball. We went on the restaurant. The whole front wall was open in the sky. Sprays of glass glittered like diamonds. One heavy beam had fallen diagonally across the opening. The dozer was bad to have been taken, and through the time it would keep coming, ripping through the stools, and then demolish the counter itself. We knelt down and thrust the bottles out. Light them up, I said to the trucker. He got the matches out, but his hands were shaking too badly, and he dropped them. The courtman picked them up and struck one. Then the husk of the shirt blazed the greasily alight. Quickly, I said. We ran. The kid a little to in the lead. The glass crumbled and gritted underfoot. There was hot oil smell in the air. Everything was very loud, very bright. The dozer charged. The kids dodged out under the beam and stood silhouetted in front of the heavy tempered steel blade. I went to the right. The kid's first throw fell short. His second hit the blade, and the flames splashed harmlessly. There you go.
That was awful.
That's Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah, but the movie is so much better.
Well, no shit. It's because it's not.
The whole time you read that short story, you should be listening to AC/DC. Rock says, because did you know Stephen King got hit by a van?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So Rock said we need to make it a law that vans have to drive at higher speeds than others.
Here, I'm going to read you the synopsis, what it says in the back of Night Shift, by the way.
Okay, read the synopsis.
In the ominous, frightening world of Stephen King, there are things unimagined, almost unspeakable, working in Night Shift. Strange presences in Jerusalem's lot, a town abandoned for generations, and with good reason. No one who wanders there now after sun has set ever comes back alive. And the hideous growths in the hands of former astronaut, tiny round and yellow eyes popping through the skin watching him, not liking what they see. And the mysterious little girl lost in the fierce Maine blizzard, calling out for her rescuers in a pitiful voice, but she walks on top of the deep, drifting snow, and she leaves no tracks. And the grim-faced children of the Midwest town where no one seems to live past the age of 19. And the vermin second subseller of the old mill abandoned in darkness for hundreds of years, and now assuming shapes and sizes of nature intended for, and sizes and say excuse me. And shapes and sizes nature never intended them to take. And the giant flooding and stream passing machines and blue ribbon laundry, an impressive and reliable piece of equipment until it goes for its first taste of human blood.
I would never read that book.
Night
Are there
Shift.
are there any praises on it?
Yeah, on the front. Excursioners into horror by the author of Carrie and The Shining. So it needs to mention the fact that these were his first horror stories before Carrie and The Shining. When was this fucking written? Like, when was this book published?
Rock says unspeakable horrors, aliens, dark gods, and Republicans.
Yep. First copyright is 1976. This is an old book.
Here's Oz got a question, which says it's a bit off topic, so maybe for another episode, but do you guys know any good fantasy medieval horror books? Gene, you would probably know better than I.
Read the collection by Robert Howard of Solomon Kane. You can get it for pretty cheap prices, I think, on Amazon. It's called The Savage Tales of Solomon Kane. You'll like it.
There you go. The Savage Tales of Solomon Kane.
He's a character that basically became before Conan and after Kull. So he's basically...
he's related to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No. So he's basically the whole thing where Conan's supposed to be this whole idea of freedom and, liberation. Solomon Kane's all about religious pragmatism. And
choking on all that Stephen King you just read.
I know, right? Choking on all the hate for people.
Can't handle the time warp.
No. But yeah.
Rock says Night Shift is one of the best, to be honest.
Yeah. That's sad.
Rock also says Robert Howard is public domain. Check Project Gutenberg.
Yep, you can also read him on public domain. But if you want stuff collected, if you are one of those people that likes hard copies, yeah. You can get it for pretty cheap.
The Savage Tales of Solomon Kane.
Yes.
Read to you by Gene Skinner.
Oh, God. I do have... What do I have? I do have...
You got more books?
I mean, I have Robert Howard on the shelf. What book is it, though? I don't think it's The Savage Tales of Solomon Kane. It's a collection of his. Where is it? Let me check real quick. I know it's down. Oh, yeah, here it is. What is this?
Solomon King.
No, this is a different one. This is Swordswoman and Other Historical Adventures. That's not the one. Where is it?
It's probably buried with Night Shift.
No, it's not buried. It's usually on the shelf. I just don't know. I've got a lot of shit, and I have a fucking chair in front of it. Oh, I have the Horror Stories of Robert E. Howard is what I was thinking of. It's up higher. That's why.
Got like a whole library shelf, and then you got a ladder you got to climb.
It's not that big of a...
Does it roll from side to the shelf to the other?
No. It's just a small little library. It's got my Clark Ashton Smith stuff on top. It's got Clark Ashton Smith on the bottom. It's got Lovecraft stuff, Arthur Mack and Lord Dunsany. Clark Ashton Smith, Stephen King at the end, along with that one book. What was this called again?
Do you have the Necronomicon on there?
Oh, no, I do not have the Necronomicon. I have Tales of the Cthulhu Mythos, though, which is even rare print. And I have Fungi from Yuggoth, which is also Lovecraft poetry. I have Oscar Wilde.
You got the Torah in there somewhere?
No, I have copies of the Bible, though. A few of them.
Ew. Red Sonja, says Taz.
That is another one by Robert Howard as well. Though she never in like Marvel's adaptations and everything else.
Rock says, can we bring up the fact that the old Conan Marvel magazines had some of the best painted tits ever?
Oh yeah, they did.
I don't think any of us can deny that.
No. But Red Sonja never had that chainmail bikini stuff that you see in the Dynamite comics or Marvel comics. She basically dressed more in furs.
Says, hot horror movie idea. Your character wakes up to the terrible realization that you are in a Stephen King property. So you're basically Sam Neill from In the Mouth of Madness, then. That's basically what that movie's about. Right, Gene? Gene, we can't hear you.
What was that? I didn't hear you. I was feeding.
Oh, my goodness.
Go ahead. Say it again.
She said her movie idea is that you wake up in a terrible realization that you're in a Stephen King property. And then I said that you're basically Sam Neill in The Mouth of Madness.
Yeah, and then I said, did you read Cheddar Kane?
Oh, okay. Well, we didn't hear that. You're breaking up. Are you downstairs?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Sweet says, even better horror movie idea. Your character wakes up to the terrible realization that you are Stephen King.
That isn't pretty.
No. And we were talking about like an anthology of short horror stories where it's like everything based around Stephen King's life.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the very last story, it's a story from his son's perspective.
From Joe Hill, yeah, and he goes back in time.
Haunted by shadow monsters and goes back in time and pushes his dad in front of a train.
Yep.
And then just lives his dad's life. It's just a cycle. It's kind of like Rant.
Yeah.
From Chuck Palahniuk, if anybody's seen it. Phantoms was pretty good, says Rock. I like Kuntz. Yeah, I like Kuntz too. I like his Frankenstein sort of reimagining of the whole Frankenstein with the prodigal son and everything.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with Salem's Lot too. It was supposed to be a revamp of Dracula for the modern age as well with Stephen King. And to be fair, again, I'll say Salem's Lot book-wise is all right, and movie-wise.
Sweet says, I still remember that episode of Quantum Leap that was all about Stephen King. I don't remember that episode.
I don't either.
Rock says Odd Thomas was great. I like Odd Thomas. I like the Odd Thomas movie. It's not the best movie, but I mean, it's got Anton Yelchin in it, and I think they do an okay job with the story.
So should I get it off the shelf and read something out of it?
Yeah, sure. What do you got? What are you reading out of?
It. Yeah,
grab it while I tell you Taz's horror movie idea.
Go right ahead. Keep going.
Taz's horror movie idea is you're the guy that hit Stephen King and sending his monsters after you, one after the other. Well, that's probably what happened to that guy because he killed himself a year later.
All right. This is the thickest fucking book I own. That says a lot. Because all the books I own.
Find me a link for it, Sweets, on YouTube, and it might jog my memory.
Oh, God.
The dude from Quantum Leap to thank. You have the dude from Quantum Leap to thank for Stephen King existence, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yo, dog, Phantoms was the shit. Yeah, Phantoms isn't bad. I think that's got Ben Affleck in it.
This is bigger than the Bibles I have.
Probably kill somebody with that book.
You probably could. He has this is a great quote in the beginning, by the way. Just opening this up, part one. They begin. The perfections are shapen. The flower spreads its colored petals. Wide the sun, put tongue to the bees, misses them. They stick back to loam and cry aloud. You may call a cry that creeps over them, a shiver, as they will and disappear. William Carlos Williams from Peterson. And there's also this
Some
burned down.
faggot.
Yeah. It's born down in Dead Man's Town. And that's Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, he loves Bruce Springsteen.
He does, yes.
Another fucking phony American. The movie was good. The ending was a nut kick. I read the book after the movie, so I didn't know what was going to happen. Yeah, it is a nut kick. You're not wrong. It's a crazy movie.
Give me a page number, and I'll just read.
666.
666. All right, choosing the great numbers here.
I'll get to your question, Strog. We'll talk about that too.
There is nothing on that page because he has those blank pages where it goes to parts, part 4, part
All right, 777.
777. All right, 777. It is.
Tell me it's a blank page.
I don't believe this time it will be.
Because if not, my next page is 9/11.
And we should read that one actually. Let me just go to that. 9/11.
We'll talk about that too, Strog. I like that movie.
9/8. 9/11. In the Watchers of the Night, 1 Derry Public Library, 1:15 a.m. When Ben Hanscom finished the story of the Silver Slugs, they wanted to talk, but Mike told them they wanted him to get some sleep. You've had enough for now, he said. But Mike was one who looked as if he had enough. His face was tired and drawn, and Beverly thought they looked physically ill. But we're not done, Eddie said. What about the rest of it? I still don't remember. Mike's right, Bill said. Either we remember or we won't, and I think we will. We'll remember all this we need to.
Spit it out, Bill.
Maybe that's all for the good of us, Richie suggested. Mike nodded. We'll meet tomorrow. Then he glanced at the clock. Later today, I mean. Here? Beverly asked. Mike shook his head slowly. I suggest we meet at Kansas Street, where Bill used to hide his bike. We're going down into the Barrens, Eddie said, and suddenly shivered. Mike nodded again. There was a moment of quiet when they looked around each other. Then Bill got to his feet, and the other rose with him. I want you to be careful for the rest of the night, Mike said. I'll be here. I can be wherever you are. But this meeting has made me feel better. He looks at Bill. I'd say it can be done. Wouldn't you, Bill? Bill nods slowly. Yes, I think it can still be done.
Oy vey.
It's all talking about the Barrens.
Sounds terrible.
There are parts of it I like, but it's so big. This is the biggest book I own. It's like a brick.
Strog says, does anyone else think Steven Spielberg is overrated?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say he is, especially now too. I mean, Jurassic Park was kind of his peak, right?
Yeah. Do you want me to read the back synopsis for it?
Yeah, read the back synopsis for it.
To the children, the town was their whole world. To the adults, knowing better, Derry, Maine was just their hometown. Familiar, well-ordered, a good place to live. It was the children who saw and felt what made Derry so horribly different. In the storm drains, in the sewers, it lurked, taking on the shape of every nightmare, each person's deepest dread. Sometimes it reached up, seizing, tearing, killing. The adults, knowing better, knew nothing. Time passed, and the children grew up, moved on. The horror of it was deep buried, wrapped in forgetfulness, until the grown-up children were called back, once more to confront it as it stirred and coiled its sullen depths of their memories, reaching up again to make their past nightmares a terrible present reality. Frightening, epic, and brilliant, Stephen King's It is one of the greatest works of true storytelling master. And he didn't write this himself in the back.
Stephen King totally didn't write this.
This book is a brick. Jesus.
Rock wants you to read the creepy gangbang part.
Oh, God. I don't know where that is.
You should look for it, and you should read it on the next stream.
Oh, God. God, that's going to be so bad.
It's got to be at the end somewhere. It's after they fight it, and they get lost in the sewer, and they're on the way out.
Well, it's when they fight it for the first time and fight their way out. That's not the second time. That's when they're kids.
It's in the halfway mark somewhere.
It is. It's technically halfway. But
Sweets is reporting us.
Good.
Creepy gangbang gonna be reported. Oh wait, this is YouTube.
The Dam and the Barrens.
Taz says Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was the best Indiana Jones movie ever.
That's a troll. Yeah,
that's bait. Also, Strog said, check out 30 Days of Night. Good vampire movie. I had no problem with 30 Days of Night. It's the sequels I had the problem with. But I like the first movie. It's good for what it is. You get some brutal vampires. I think there's some CGI blood in there. But the vampires are brutal. It's a great idea. Small Alaskan town. It's just night for 30 days. Good characters. Kind of quotable too. I mean, it's got Josh Hartnett in it, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the movie the first time I saw it because not really a Josh Hartnett fan, but he's got some okay movies. Lucky Number 11 is a good movie with Josh Hartnett in it. Cindy says, I really like Near Dark. We've talked about Near Dark before.
Yeah.
It's a good vampire movie. Lance Hendrickson, Judy Goldstein, Bill Paxton.
Yep.
Somebody Pazdar, that guy from Heroes. Something. Beverly got loose and sloppy in that.
Oh God, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I gotta find it though.
Yeah, she did. Beverly's like the original fought. She forgot the face of her father.
I mean, her father was the abusive asshole.
I don't know. I just heard that line in Dark Tower movie.
The Ritual of Chud.
Around saying it a lot.
Yeah, he does. It's some kind of thing. I don't know where this is in the book.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
You must be getting close.
I guess.
Poster girl of daddy issues. Profile thought. Rock says, I was kidding. For the love of God, don't. No, you asked for it, Rock. You're getting it.
Do you know what? Do you know what chapter?
We might not. I bet if you look it up. I'm asking. I bet if you look it up, you'll find it.
Probably adaptations.
We don't have to read it. We don't have to read it for this stream. Maybe we'll save that for another time. Just spring it on you.
It just pops out of nowhere.
John Carpenter's Vampires is the best red-pilled vampire movie ever.
Too bad John Carpenter himself is not red-pilled.
Yeah, but James Woods red-pills that movie.
Yeah.
Which we talked about on the last stream when we went over John Carpenter's career.
Yeah.
Who, I mean,
I'm putting this back on my shelf, or maybe I should put Night Shift up there instead.
Too heavy to carry.
It's a heavy ass book. Ow.
Gene reading, this is the true horror, says Sweets.
Yep. This is not as bad as Esau reading his own texts.
Out loud.
Yeah. I'm at least.
And everybody's like, what are you saying, Esau? He's like, nothing, I was reading. Like, why are you talking?
Yep. Can I fit this back in here?
That's what she said.
Yeah, I can. Is that also what she said?
No.
Put it right back next to Edgar Allan Poe, even though he's way better. I know. It's at the end of the book list.
But the Langoliers is so great.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, did you know that Stephen King got hit by a van?
Oh, thank you for reminding me. I did not remember that.
I just think it's a funny story.
I think it's a great story. Actually, I should say it's a sad story.
Because he didn't die. So if everybody doesn't know, basically everybody in the King family, they're all authors.
Mm-hmm.
Tabitha King, his wife, is an author. She's got like 8 novels.
Yeah.
And 2 nonfiction books. Joe Hill, who is probably the most famous one to come out of the King family other than Stephen King, who will perpetually live in his father's shadow forever.
Till he finally takes that time machine and hits him with the train.
Right. He's got a new show coming out, I think, on AMC called Nosferatu.
Yeah, it's based on the book.
It's about
it's spelled weirdly too.
Some like vampire drives around a hearse and picks kids up or something.
Coming to my Chevy van.
Hey noob. Yeah, she found us.
Welcome. Now let's go back over everything about Stephen King. And do you want me to read books again?
Wasn't it 1,200 pages?
No, it's more than that actually.
Jesus Christ, is it bigger than Infinite Jest?
Probably. It's 150 pages. 1,500 pages, excuse me.
Man, you know how much drugs was done? You know how much drugs he went through for 1,500 page book?
Faggot.
Yeah. Yeah, he probably wrote that chapter when he was out of drugs that he couldn't pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's out of his fucking faggot. He's just killing him in his book. This faggot don't have any fucking drugs. Faggot.
That's in the first chapter too.
Is it?
The one where the queer gets killed? Yeah.
Okay. That's a great way to start off your book. Queer dying.
It's either the queer... the queer's dead already, and that's the whole point. That goes back to Georgie being dead, where he gets pulled in there.
And then there's Owen King, the other brother, who I guess his dad writes most of his books with him or for him.
Because Owen's a serial killer.
It's just frailty. And it's the sister. The sister doesn't have a Wikipedia. I think she's the oldest, actually, the daughter.
And she never did anything with her life.
No, she lived off daddy's money or something. Who knows what she did. I imagine he's got a shit ton of money. Stephen King.
Faggot.
I mean, I think we can all agree that Maximum Overdrive is the #1 Stephen King movie of all time.
No, I like it 2017 more.
No. You don't get a vote.
Why? I'm the co-host here.
But if you're not going to vote Maximum Overdrive, then the vote doesn't count.
What is this, democratic law?
This is the Maximum Overdrive. This is the Estevez law.
Is this the George Hart world?
Maximum Estevez. Best movie.
But the Estevez family is full of a bunch of assholes too.
Emilio Overdrive. Cindy seconds it. So Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah, because one person in chat says that.
Everybody in chat. Sweets just said Maximum Overdrive is the best movie.
You betrayed me, Sweets. That's why you're getting killed first.
Taz just said it. Strog said it. Noob said it. It's just full of Maximum Overdrive best movie.
I disagree.
If you watch this back, you'll see that only Cindy agreed with me. And everybody else, nobody's saying anything. I do like Maximum Overdrive is one of those guilty pleasure movies.
Oh yeah, it's just a really good B movie.
Yeah, it's a really good B movie. It's got fun kills in it. There's some really bad over the top like 90s acting.
Remember the salesman? Remember that dude
who gets hit? Remember him. He was a Bible salesman.
Yeah, and how creepy he gets to the kid and tries to rape somebody too.
Yeah, it's fucking odd. I don't know why he's got to throw that shit in there. And because he didn't do a good enough job of making him look like a scumbag salesman already.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna rape your corpse.
Are you shaving my time down from 10 seconds to 5, Jenova? I haven't done anything.
Yeah, it shouldn't be shaved at all.
Sweets Parades. Point out where I said it. Thank you. I'm already going to get killed by Gene as it is. Yeah, it's definitely a guilty pleasure movie. It also had the Lisa Simpson actress in it. Yeah, she gets married with that other guy, and they're like a really annoying married couple.
Yeah.
Her voice is just awful.
Yeah, she has a really awful voice. That's the only voice she's ever had is Lisa Simpson as a voice.
And it's got the waitress who goes out there and she's screaming, "We made you!"
Yeah, we made
you. She gets cut by the whatever electrical thing cuts her.
Yeah.
I don't know why I guess I know why the trucks didn't just plow through it to begin with is because they wanted the gas and they didn't really think this through.
Give us the gas. We need the gas.
We can't get the gas because we don't have the fucking
arms.
The arms to fucking do it.
So yeah, I thought that. But here's the thing: I thought even though that happens and they talk about the meteorite passing through, I think the meteorite is supposed to be an alien spaceship.
Is it? Is it supposed to be like based on like that cult that thought there was an alien spaceship behind the comet, Heaven's Gate?
Probably.
Because I think they were active for a while.
I'll kill you.
Yeah, I think it's either an alien spaceship or there's an alien spaceship behind it that's like
they get blown up anyways. The fucking
some
aliens
kind of weird radiation.
Yeah.
Thing brings all the electrical shit to alive, which is then what everybody thought was going to happen in Y2K.
Yeah. But it really happened in Cell.
Yeah. We gotta bring back John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson for a straight to Netflix movie.
Straight to shit movie.
Yeah, it's not very good. Rock says, I wish the unedited cut of Maximum Overdrive would get released. Supposedly, they toned down a bunch of scenes, like the steamroller. The uncut scene made George Romero puke when King showed it to him. I think I've heard that story. Rock says the ship was hiding behind the meteorite and the Russians shot it down.
So we should thank Russia for saving us.
Yeah. Thank you, Russia.
Moscow.
And I'm sure he
hates the Russians for saving us. Yeah.
Of course when Obama was in office, he was like, he don't care about Russia. Because Obama was like, all
in their pocket, yeah.
Yeah, Cold War policy, the 1980s called. They want your politics back or whatever he said.
Yeah.
And then now that Donald Trump's in office, it's, the Russians are bad. We're back to the Cold War. Why? Because Stephen King is still in the fucking past.
Back in 1957.
Do you want to go through his fucking Twitter?
We might as well at this point.
Yeah. It's 11:30, so I guess we'll go for another half hour.
Back in 1957.
Let me bring up Stephen King's Twitter here.
My best friend got hit by a train, and I never remembered it anyway.
His friend gets hit by a train, but instead of dying, gets pushed into the future, where then he later waits for Stephen King and runs him over with a van. Now there's a story. All right, let me go to screen share here real quick. We'll see. But I haven't checked his Twitter. I'm sure he's complaining about Trump or something.
But if that's the case, then why did he kill himself? He was pushing the future.
Maybe he went back in time and lived his childhood out. Who knows?
Look at how miserable he looks.
He does look miserable. I'm telling you, he's a Down syndromed reptile.
Yeah.
He looks like he's got Down syndrome. Look at those eyes.
What's with the shirt, Steven? Are you appropriating
Mexican culture? I don't even think you're allowed to use sugar skulls like that.
Probably not.
He don't care. He's cool, dude. He's a cool old man. He's got like ape lips, like this whole section between the lips and the nose. This is very ape-like right there. And then the rest of it is like the eyes scream Down syndrome. This whole thing screams Down syndrome to me.
Oh, here we go.
Reptilian ape Down syndrome hybrid.
He retweeted something really rich of something about Donald Trump up top there.
The very first one?
Yeah.
Richard Blumenthal?
Yeah, just breaking news.
Secretary Nielsen leaves a legacy of separating thousands of families, caging children, and denying it happened. We will be grappling with the damage she has wreaked for decades to come. Because, Obama didn't do any of that. Obama had NASA announces plans to put man on bus to Cleveland. It's from the Onion. Even though Ohio has like the most astronauts. Cemetery Road by Greg Ills, pure reading pleasure. This guy knows the Deep South as well or better than any other novelist. I'm sure he does. I'm sure there's a lot of shit kicking the niggers out of our town.
Very excited about this.
I very excited. You're supposed to be a writer, Steven. You can't even handle 140 characters.
No, you know what he did? He typoed it and didn't fucking fix it because it's right next to the M.
What Jaws did for swimming, Cujo did for Ford Pintos. I don't think it was Cujo that did it. I think it was the Pinto itself.
You mean you want to kill?
Here we go. We got a Trump one.
All right.
Trump. They are fake newspaper who have already been forced to apologize. Donald, no one expects you to get your facts straight, but at least have someone correct your syntax. It is a fake newspaper that has God, you're a and then I'll just go back up here and I'll just say very excited about this. So this guy corrects the grammar and punctuation and typos of Donald Trump, but that makes them his own, not just a few days later.
So bad.
Oh, man, the lack of self-awareness.
It's really bad.
Are you surprised that rich parents are bribing their rich kiddies into top schools? Shocked even? Don't be. In the age of Trump, when even fundamentalist Christians wink at the president's flagrant adulteries, such behavior comes to seem normal. 30,000 favorites on that, by the way.
Of course.
And then he's got a little ad here. Pet Cemetery opens tonight. They don't come back at the same time. I don't know what that means. Pet Cemetery opens tonight. They don't come back the same time.
What?
They don't come back the same. That's what he said. They don't come back the same. That must be the tagline for Pet Cemetery, because you bury them and then they're not the same when they come back.
No.
Release the Mueller report and have done with it. Quit the game. The American people paid for that thing. Who forced the American people to pay for it? The fucking Democrats. Also, you can't release it because it's got innocent people's names and information in it. And they have a right to privacy, Stephen, you know.
He doesn't.
He doesn't care. Apparently, this is his dog.
Mm-hmm. The thing of evil? He calls it the thing of evil?
I guess so. Here's a real American speaking the truth to corrupt power. And it's a video of Adam Schiff. He's a real American. Adam Schiff's a real fucking American, folks. Don't you ever forget it. He represents, that's right, fucking
look at that Don Winslow there.
Idea for the new reality show, The Scumbags. Do these people, is there so much contempt and hate for this family for a guy who was a Democrat forever until he ran for president? Mm-hmm. And he's a scum, like it's just jealousy. You wish you were in any way related to the Trumps. Mm-hmm. You're a fucking you're a loser. You're not as relevant as you wish you were. Nobody's fucking listening to you.
Nope.
You got 5,000 favorites. That's fucking nothing. Even 50,000 favorites is fucking nothing.
Yep.
And all you're doing is just having fans agree with you because they like you. And he probably only got those 5K retweets because Steven retweeted him.
Yep.
And they still couldn't beat Donald Trump at the social media game.
Nope.
Oh, Nosferatu. Here we go. This is what it looks like. This faggot right here.
Is that George Clooney?
No, that is Zachary Quinto, who was in American Horror Story. He plays Spock in the new Star Trek movies.
Of course he does.
He was Sylar in Heroes. And he doesn't like white men. He's a social justice warrior, too.
What's his whole deal? He looks like he's a white man.
Oh, he is a white man. He doesn't like white men. You know, like a lot of soy boys do. But he's also a homosexual man.
Of course.
Yeah, which I think he thinks that's important or something. How about a movie? This is Stephen King. Stephen King's got a movie for us, folks. He's got a movie idea.
Mm-hmm.
How about a movie where Mary Poppins turns out to be a serial killer? Think how exciting that would be. The umbrella could have like a machete inside. We've done the umbrella kill already with Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. We don't need, I think that's what it's called, right?
Mm-hmm.
One where he sticks the umbrella through the guy and then opens it up on the other side.
You should show that tweet to Esau under that one from Stephen King. Look at that. According to 365 facts that'll scare the shit out of you. Daily calendar, stubbled party, Barbie. Once Carol book tells how to lose weight. The visible text reads, don't eat.
Yes, Esau needs that in his life, not eating. He could survive for he could survive longer than a normal human could without food.
Oh, look at this loser. Patrick Skinner there.
Oh, is he related to you?
Nope.
Read the below sentence out loud, please. Out loud. All right, I will do, Patrick. More children were shot dead in 2017 than on-duty police officers and active-duty military combined. That's a good thing, though. I mean, that on-duty police officers and active military that aren't getting shot. It's not a good thing that children are dying. Who's killing the children, Patrick? We are afraid of all the wrong things. I say this as a cop. Well, next time somebody's gunning down a kid, jump in front of the bullets. I don't know what to tell you.
Look at Steven being a soy boy.
This one?
Yeah, with Joe. Look who he with
Joe Hill. So Joe Hill says, I still think most people are basically good, but it has to be accepted that a real vast number of Americans don't just accept their president shitting on a dead war hero. They actually revel in it. It's just another sideshow in Trump's circus of hate.
Okay,
and Steven, the father, replies with, truer words never spoken. Hard to believe any armed services vets can continue to support that draft dodger president. Fuck both of you. You have no fucking. You are some of the most anti-American pieces of shit walking the fucking earth right now in this fucking country. You don't like this country. Everybody in your fucking book is a racist or a homophobe who hates everything. You always portray Midwestern, real blue-collar people as pieces of fucking shit.
Or Hicks.
You're out of touch old men, both of you, who live off in a fucking rich white person's privileged neighborhood. There's no reason you should be lecturing to anybody with your moral fagging.
Oh, whoa.
Hope the van fucking killed. All right, I'm done with this. I'm done with them.
Yeah, it's hard to. It's just really hard.
I'm triggered. I can't find it. Oh, there it is.
Fucking Stephen King.
All right. I think I forgot to present to everybody, so I don't think anybody saw that at all.
I mean, I saw it.
Oh well, then that should be okay then.
Yeah.
Let's see what.
What do you think, Jet?
That dude's gay. That's that gay dude. Oh, so he's a gay dude that likes black dick. Quinto is progressive homo Jew. He's God. Teach kids how to take cover. X to doubt, need citation. That Pandora's box is one you do not even take out of the cupboard. Wasn't Stephen King a draft dodger?
Yeah, he was.
Gated community, don't forget that part.
Yep.
You mean porn? Yeah, we saw Jenova's porn. I'm not you. So what if I like traps?
Oh God.
I take good measure to clear the porn. You ain't seeing nothing.
At least you didn't freak out like Total Biscuit did when someone said that to him. Said it was a homophobic slur, and before he died.
Oh, I don't have the energy to freak. I don't give a fuck what you say about me. Doesn't mean a damn. No, the words don't mean nothing. You say that now. Yeah, I'll say it forever, sweets.
Olive oil's not really a good thing to have on anything.
Olive oil?
Yeah.
Esau drinks that shit. All right, we're going till 12, so we got like 12 more minutes till we'll go till midnight. Anything else, Stephen King, that we didn't bring up that anybody wants to talk about, or if they think we didn't elaborate enough on? Gene, you got anything? Did we talk about the dark half?
I don't think we really talked that much about the dark half. We mentioned it, but we didn't really bring it up.
Isn't that story about Stephen King's battle with his drug addiction or something?
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Oh, sweets. Thank you for reminding us. Gene, did you know that Stephen King got hit by a van?
Oh, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, a van hit him and like almost killed him.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to say killed him.
I thought it was a funny little story.
It'd be funnier if the ending was...
If he died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was out jogging, like the stupidest thing to get hit by.
That guy probably sat there and just waited for me. He goes, I've read this motherfucker's life. It's the last time you write a bad book about Maine. The Dark Half was a Nectar prequel, says Brock.
The whole thing, though, apparently Stephen King said, too, is that the guy wasn't from Maine originally. He said he's from some stupid hick state like North Carolina or something.
Did he say stupid hick state?
Yeah, he said stupid hick state.
Oh, what a piece of shit, man. What an arrogant head up your own. Stephen King's head is up his ass, but then his whole family's heads are also up his ass.
Oh, by the way, I guess I'll mention this, though, since it's an interesting fact. I bought some salsa recently. It's called Todd's Hot Salsa.
Yeah? Is it made by Tony Todd?
No. But the thing about it is, where it comes from surprised me when I looked at it. It comes from Bangor, Maine.
Bangor, Maine. Some faggots put it together and threw it while they were battling clowns.
And having a gangbang in the sewer.
Oh shit, we're late. Gotta get to work. Put some salsa together. Fuck. If he truly, Sweet says, if he truly meant it, he would have put the van in reverse. Yeah, that's true. And I think we already said that the guy, he killed himself a year later, supposedly.
Supposedly.
His last words were, I can't take another winter, or that was what somebody said.
I can't take another winter here, which does not sound like someone would want to kill themselves.
It sounds like, what it sounds like is Stephen King wrote that suicide note after he put the gun in his hand. Allegedly.
Allegedly. And his office was cleaned up that year too when he did that.
Yeah, it's a very, if you go on Wikipedia and you look into it, it's a very odd story. It could be its own story, so one would say.
And then he got hit by the train.
Yes.
What if that's how he actually ends up dying? What if he ends up getting hit by a train? Like, really?
Oh, we're going to speculate on Stephen King's death. What if he gets hit by, what if he's in a van and he gets hit by a train? The brakes go out on his van and he gets stuck at a train crossing and the train hits him.
Yeah, and he can't get out. He can't get out.
He can't get out because he's got red balloons and they're blocking the way or something, or a meteorite has taken over the van.
Well, I guess the best thing that Chad can ever see on screen Stephen King death is when he's playing Jordy Verrill and he gets shotgunned to his fucking head.
That's true. You want him to go out the Jordy Verrill route?
I don't want death upon anybody. But that might happen if he becomes so irrelevant, or he just hates the world enough.
Or if he relapses.
Yeah, that too. Unfortunately.
I mean, he's got the money. He could probably get whatever he wants whenever he wants. I'm sure he hangs around with a lot of those people who do that. I wouldn't be surprised if his son fell into that same sort of drug addiction.
Yeah.
You know, King dies and Joe's so depressed that he starts doing coke and oxys.
Yeah.
Rock says King held the van driver at gunpoint and forced him to read all his books. Taz says, wasn't he involved in Under the Dome? Yeah, Stephen King did Under the Dome. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about? There was a Mist TV series that came out.
All right, there was.
Yeah, and it was one season and nobody watched it because it was fucking terrible because everybody they watched The Mist for the monsters I'm sure there's drama between people, but you didn't really get any monsters, and it
Oh,
was the humans are the real monsters thing.
we didn't talk about Castle Rock either.
Oh yeah, that first show that was on Hulu or something.
Yeah,
that first season, it was not good. I mean, it was kind of boring.
And Bill Skarsgård's in it as Shawshank is the character's name.
Yeah, he just shows up like out of time.
Sometimes you get busy living or get busy dying. Or maybe you get busy getting hit by a van.
And the hospital room he's in is 1408.
Of course it is.
Of course it would be.
Maybe
the Dead Zone TV show.
Maybe I'd be more interested in Stephen King if the room number was 1488 instead.
Yes, Sweets, everything in Minecraft. Yeah, 1488. We're only one digit away. 14. Just take that 8 or just take that 0 and put like a line through it and make it look like an 8. 88 with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. Says Back into the Left by Stephen King coming out soon.
Back into the Left.
Is that a book or a movie or something? Rock says the Dead Zone TV show.
Well, yeah, I talked about the miniseries with Christopher Walken.
Rock says, I hope King gets hit by a Trump 2020 bus. That's not a fucking bad way to go. We're all gonna walk outside and get hit by cars tomorrow.
Not me. I'm not walking outside.
Sweet says her prediction is he'll be found hanging from the rafters dressed in a clown suit.
Possibly. Oh yeah, that's right, because he has to realize that clowns are now racist now.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Clowns are racist now. So Stephen King is a racist?
Yeah. He has a clown in his story. Clowns are racist.
Clowns are racist, so Stephen King is by proxy racist?
He's got to try those mental gymnastics real hard to not try to, think of tying himself.
It's going to be, well, the racist is the bad guy in the book, in the movie, right?
But is Pennywise actually the true hero?
Yeah. Now is Pennywise really a hero because these kids are just fucking bratty whiners? I mean, they are called the losers after all. Do we really need that? One of them stutters, for Christ's sake. I keep Richie around because Richie's funny.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, meh. We can stop them from
my diversity points with Mike, the fat kid with Ben, who turns into the brawny man. And I'm very upset that the brawny companies decided to go woke.
Of course everybody's going woke.
It's a fucking paper towel company. Why?
Because they think woke sells more product, but it isn't. That's why it's go woke or get woke, go broke.
Yeah.
But they haven't. Their research is just going to either ignore that or they haven't looked at that because they have no fucking clue. Numbers are down for everybody. Taz says with his thick ass glasses, he's going to look up accidentally at the sun and beam will land directly into his brain.
He really does have grandma glasses, yeah.
Yeah, that motherfucker can't see. If this was like a more primitive era, he'd have like walked off a cliff a long time ago. Strog says, what do you think about King saying Kuntz is sometimes awful? I would say that King is also more than sometimes awful.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have any room to speak. He sells books on name alone.
Yeah.
Because he has had some hits. We really don't like Stephen King here. He is a real douchebag, a pompous asshole, lefty progressive who pushes authoritarianism while pretending to not like authority. He's a product, basically. He's not his own person, really.
You know what? I'd really say I can't wait for Stephen King's final novel because it's going to be called Him, and it's all about the Orange Man. Bad.
Him. Oh, yes. Can we please? I'll read that. It'll be twice as long as it.
Yep.
Because he started writing it in 1957.
Yep. He knew. He just knew that Donald Man was going to be president one day. And he was like, I need to write something about him because I hate him.
But I think Rock is right. Kuntz is less hit or miss than King,
Yeah.
and I think Kuntz also has more original ideas than King does.
Yeah.
A lot of King's ideas, because he wants this like shared connected universe and shit like that, and he really sort of a lot of his stuff is like par for the course when it comes to horror. Like, isn't it in the book where Pennywise really just kind of turns into like the
Yeah.
werewolf man, Dracula?
He turns into the werewolf, the creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, certain point, other monsters. Yeah, he turns into a lot of things.
Which, I mean, I think that's kind of lazy. I mean, I know it's supposed to be because
How
the
much he
rich.
loved? Yeah, how much it's actually because Stephen King really apparently loved the Universal monster
Yeah,
movie
but
films.
but that's not an homage. That's like you're just taking fucking
Yeah,
monsters. And like, oh well, it's not. It's really in this space alien. I think he gets out there with his lore a little too much too.
yeah.
Uh,
I
Kuntz is
I
very
have to
focused.
say that because of King, we had Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I think with alien clowns.
Right, which is a better movie
Yeah,
than it's a better movie than the '90s. That's for
yeah,
sure. But I think Kuntz is more precise and more focused when it comes to his work.
yeah.
Uh, like I said, I really like Prodigal Son.
Mm.
The whole Frankenstein like reimagining is really great. Uh, Rock says Donald Flagg
Donald
for your
Flag.
him. It'll be the guy in him. The
Donald
Orange
Flag.
Tower.
The Orange Tower.
Uh, but it is almost midnight here, so I think we're gonna. Oh, it is midnight now.
Yep.
So I think we're gonna end this show.
Yep. I think it's a good time to just call it
We
a
Let's call it a
yeah,
night.
call it a night.
Appreciate everybody coming out, listening to us blab about Stephen King and how.
And get on tangents of other things like we always do.
Yeah, always. We should definitely at some point do a show where we can talk about superhero movies, or we can do an off topic show where we talk about all kinds of film and everything.
Yeah, we'll call it something other than Slice and Dice, though. I think.
Yeah, we'll do something. So if you guys want to, like, I know
Actually,
not everybody's.
I think I already came up with another name for it. Actually, cut and print.
Cut and print. I like it. So cut and print will be like an off topic. It won't just be about horror. We'll talk all things movies and stuff, and those will be kind of special shows that we do when we don't know what horror shit we're going to talk about, because I don't know what we're going to. Are we coming back Wednesday?
Yeah, why not?
Wednesday at 9. I don't have a topic ready yet. Do you have an idea for one, or we'll figure it out?
How about, since we've talked on the subject of Stephen King, why don't we talk more about just creature features in general, like creature feature films?
All kinds of creature features movies.
Yeah, like classic Universal monsters to anything else, but critters. Yeah,
from the 80s and 90s.
Yep.
All right, folks. On Wednesday at 9, we'll be talking about creature features. So we hope to see you guys there. Thanks everybody for coming out. Really appreciate Chad and all your input. Gene, you got anything else you want to
say? Catch me tomorrow on Banner Ants, where we will be looking at aliens. But I think you knew that already.
Aliens tomorrow on Banner Ants, guys, at 8.
And that'll be the last Monster Hunter we do on Banner Ants as well.
Right, because eventually you and Zach are going to do a show, right?
Yeah, the In Searches stuff.
Yeah, that'll be great. All right, I just want to say fuck Stephen King.
Yeah, fuck you, Stephen King.
Bye, guys.
Bye.